Click, buy, deliver. With remote purchasing from the 2-time Motorcycle News Dealer of the Year, Colchester Kawasaki. Proud sponsors of Chasing the Racing.
3, 2, 1, and welcome back to Chasing the Racing, episode 128. And we're delighted to be joined by the one and only Guy Martin. How's it going?
Hey, all right, bossy. Who?
Yeah, not too bad.
I think we should tidy something up straight away.
Go on, boy.
That is a shit cup of coffee.
Hey, boy, well, I'm not very good at making coffee. It's whatever was in the jar. Well, I don't know how else do you make it.
I'm only joking with you, man. It's dirt in a cup, isn't it, with hot water in it? Even I can't mess up coffee. Don't you worry, driver.
Not much to go wrong, boy. Not much to go wrong. We're all right.
Now,
go on then. What's the plan? You text me. How long ago did you text me? A month or two ago.
Yeah, about that. And I must say a massive thank you to Matt Late, who kindly put us in touch.
Yeah.
And he was when we had him on the show, he was telling us what a fantastic job you've been doing with his engines this year.
Always mucking about with engines. I've done them for years. Always mucking about.
And he's had a good year as well, hasn't he?
He's done that. He's won his 3rd championship in a row now.
I think so, yeah.
No limits, and then he won the Thundersport Championship. No, he's a busy lad, is Mr. Late?
He does not stop. You can see the stuff that he makes. His bikes. You know, I do his motors, but the bikes are a bloody work of art, man.
Oh, they are.
Work of art. You know, the more superbike than a superbike, you know, in the way that there's very little of an ER6 left. He makes all the subframe, all self-supporting subframe. All the yokes are out of a superbike. Everything's bespoke. The trick is trick.
So do you get like a pretty stock engine from him and then tune it up from?
Yes, I just get a road engine and then we take them from there.
That's what I say. Well, you rode that thing at Armoy then, so what was his working motion like then?
It was all right. Well, I'd not... Yeah, because I think you was there, weren't you?
Mm.
Yeah, I didn't see you.
I know I was expecting to see you roll up on the grid and you didn't turn up.
No, I didn't. Because my sole purpose, because I only go racing because I enjoy it, right? Yeah. But then if I was going out in the twins, I'm sort of under pressure out, and I just thought, I was having a word with Matt, and I probably haven't raced. I think the last time I raced was probably Skerry's 19 on me triple. Which isn't my triple. It's my B. I know it's in there. You've seen it in there. It's mine. I built it, but it's not. It's Les Whiston's.
Right.
He knew I was mad into the triples. Right. Like the first ever race back I rode with my dad's triple. I was only like 16 or something. He let me go around Cadwell on it. And then what happened? I built the bike to go around a wall of death. We did like a wall of death thing for a Channel 4 years ago, right? And I ended up using a Rob North as a base with a T160 in it. And then I got all my bits through Les. And then Les rang me up like a year after I'd done it. And he says, I'm building a real triple, like Rob North, but with a narrow back end of the frame, which was sort of a bit grey whether it was legal or not. And he says, I'll give you the bits, and you can build it. So he gave me the crankcases, the engine, and I've sort of built it up. It took me like a couple of 3 years to build it, and that's right. I just go and race the roads with it. I love it.
I tell you what, Chrissy, as far as scrutiny and like how strict the world of motorcycle racing can be, classic racing, there's nothing like it. They are so strict when they want to be. Like if a fairing's not quite the shape, the spacing in the frame gaps, you have no idea. It's like, for God's sake, go get a girlfriend or something. You know what I mean? It's a seat unit.
But I have got a CRMC cert for it.
Right.
Because they went through it. They did go through it and it is legal. It's eligible. Yeah, because it's just a real funny with forks, aren't there? And where the clamp is for the triple clamp. That's the real anal with that. And I've got the certificate, so it's CRMC legal.
Have you done a round of CRMC or?
It's a long story. I went to. Well, it's not a long bloody story. I went to Cadwell. Maybe last year was it? A couple of years ago. And I think I did a couple of laps of practice. And did I do one race? And I came and I just thought, what am I doing? I was not enjoying it one bit. Yeah. So I just rode up the mountain, came round, put it back in the van, and came home.
Fair enough.
Because I just thought I had to remind myself. I said to myself that's the last time I'm going short circuit racing. I did not enjoy it. I did not enjoy it, and I love my bikes. But I just. God bloody hell, man! I don't know what you want me to talk about. I can talk to the bloody cows. Come on! I stopped road racing when. Fucking hell, man! I sort of packed in like 15. I think I was like Ulster Grand Prix. I come off. Right, I come off.
That was the Tyco BMW.
Yeah, it was.
Yes, aye.
I come off that, and that's proper spanning me. That's the problem. I broke a load of bones, but that was the most bones I'd ever broken in one sitting. Right, and I'm laid in hospital, and I'm thinking, "Fuck me, man, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I was mad. I'm mad for bloody mountain bike racing. Right, I've raced mountain bikes for years, like endurance stuff. Right, and I sort of always wanted the next level of endurance because you sort of got into like sprint stuff, and I was never that good at sprint mountain bikes. But like the long stuff, I was all right. And I was like, I get on the podium, like British stuff. I get on the podium odd times, and I was like, I was all right. And I always went like the next level from that, and like the next level, like the longest mountain bike race in the world was known as the Tour de Vide. Like it's from Canada to Mexico, and I thought, I like the sound of that. And that was always the same time as the TT. And I thought, I'll do it when I pack in with the TT. And anyway, I'm laid. I'm laid in hospital after Ulster Grand Prix, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Fuck the motorbikes. I'm going to go do this mountain bike race. So that was my goal. That was like in August time.
Switch, yeah.
That was like August time. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to fucking get myself out of this hospital and I'm going to fucking ride my push bike and I'm going to go do that race. And anyway, the next year that was like August time. And I just got out of hospital, kept going, just went back to work and just push bike back and forth to work. And there's a fucking story about that. But you know, how much time have you got, boys?
We've got all the time in the world. No, come on. What happened on the push bike? I want to know.
No, I just because I fucking dragged myself out of hospital and I could fucking start walking and I managed. I was like going to work and I could do like 6 hours at work and then I'd go on. Boss like, what the fuck are you doing? And I got to a point where I was going to work and I could do a full day and then I could bike to work because I used to bike every day. I used to do like 200 or 300 mile a week just biking to work and back. You know, so I was like, fucking hell, because I'd take different routes to work because I was training for like these long mountain bike races, right? And I was fucking biking to work one morning and I got halfway there and I thought, oh fuck, so I biked home and got my van and went to work and it was just like, and I crashed the van that we went and raced in America and we did the lap of it still holds the lap record around the Nürburgring. I ended up crashing in the back of a car transport. I got blinded by the sun because I'd gone back home to get to get my van and then drove it to work and crashed in the back of a car transport. So that's what sort of okay now, so I did that and then so that story with that transit van sort of started from me trying to get back push biking after bloody breaking me back. And then I'm just, I
listened to your audiobook not so long ago. I know there's a new one that's just came out.
They keep asking me to do them, you know. I don't want to do them. I don't want to do them. He said, they just keep asking me. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Do you know, I had another machine in my shed, doesn't it? I thought, yeah, mint.
Do you know, Week in the Mixture, that's the one I listened to recently. Proper. You know what it's like, do you know, when you're up and down the country on the roads, you might, like, say if I'm going down to London, it's a good, 6 hours in the van. So there and back does a full book. Yeah. And it's much better than listening to, the radio, Spotify or whatever.
I like a bit of Planet Rock.
Now and again. Yeah. But I properly enjoyed listening to all of the stuff about Tour Divide. And 18 and it was 18
I think
days, 6 hours.
18 days, 6 hours.
150 mile a day. Man, if you do one day 150 mile, you'll gooch and your manly bits are a bit sore. 18 days.
Yeah, but you're carrying all your kit. You're carrying all your kit, and that's what you can't get your head. Oh yeah, that is a lot of miles. It's not a right load, compared to. But I think
that's a huge amount.
Yeah, it is. But the average 7,000 meters of climbing a day. That's what it was like. I think it was like doing Everest 20 times or something. So it was something like that. By the time you got to the end of it, it's brutal. You was going down the spine. I didn't really know what the definition of the Continental Divide was, and the Continental Divide goes down the spine of. Well, it starts in Canada and finishes I think it finishes down in the bottom of Mexico or something. But the definition of the Continental Divide is to, tell me if I'm right, to the west, the water flows to the Pacific, and to the east, the water flows to the Atlantic. Right. That's what defines the Continental Divide. So that's why there's so much climbing, because you're through all the mountains. Yeah, what a ride. What a ride. So I just trained my brains out and I just went and did that ride.
But that sounds like torture.
Before we get on to the other crack as well, I want to give your sister a quick plug because we went for a lovely meal in the pub.
Sal, she's cracking place she's got there.
I tell you what, I had a all day breakfast, I think.
Right.
Dom went for the Kermo
That was
burger.
your sister?
That's my sister, yeah.
Oh my God, what? She's a feeder. I couldn't escape. There's me. Do you want me to take that home? Going, look, love, I'm done it. He fed. You paid the bill. Thank you very much. I went to the bar. Oh, it's already been paid. I'm going, this is the world's loveliest village. If they're prepaying your food, and the pile of beer.
I tell you what, Kermington.
She does some job there, boy.
Kermington's very like a quintessentially English little village, isn't it? It's beautiful, like a church, a
green
little
spire
primary
on
school.
it. That's it.
Yeah, it's and obviously there's a big connection with the RAF.
Yeah, 166 Squadron. Yeah,
is that from the Humber Airport? Is that what was used during the war?
Yeah. What they call it? Yeah, Humberside Airport. Yeah, which that's 166 Squadron were based there, which is like a bomber base.
Yeah,
but there was loads of them around. Well, like where I work up at Elsham, that was a bomber base there. There was loads of them around. It got Bomber County. Lincolnshire was always Bomber County. Mm-hmm. Oh, there was like Ibblestow down there. That was a Spitfire. That was
Was Guy Gibson from around here as well?
To be honest, I don't know where he was from. Right. I know he was based at Scampton.
Oh, okay.
He was based at Scampton for the Dambusters raid, the 617 Squadron. That was their first out in 617. That was to do the
bounce and
special.
Bomb
That's
thing.
That's it. Scampton, and they stayed at Woodall Spa, but then the mission set off from Scampton.
That was some clever lads. Didn't he get the backspin from playing golf at a pond?
It's something like that. Yeah.
No, honestly, you know the idea, because obviously every time the bombs were hitting, they were bouncing off and going away from the dam. So he was playing golf. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, but he was playing golf and he was getting backspin. So it was skipping across the top of the water, and when it hit the wall, it created enough backspin to run the side of the
wall.
dam.
That's it. Well, you know the
Unbelievable.
script, boy. You know the script. Yeah, Barnes Wallace.
Don't
was
let
the
the
man's
stupid
name.
face fool you. My mother
fair
gave me
play.
this, God love her.
Fair play to the job. Fair play.
Yeah, and
Fair
it's
play.
So I've got one more. Sorry, Chris. Yeah, why is it called? What's it called? The pub? The pub?
Maribon and Cleaver. It was always called that.
But the reason
I
why
don't
it was
own
called
it.
that?
I bought the pub like bloody 5 or 6 years ago or something because it was like I always wanted to keep it as a pub, and I thought it was in the village where I grew up, and I love Kermode through and through. And it came up for sale, and I thought, all right, because the pub had been closed for ages.
Right.
And then I bought it, and I thought, right, what we're going to do with it? And I thought, right, my sister, I used to sort of work for my sister in a way. Like, as the position you boys are now in the British Championship, when I was doing the British Championship, I had to work as many jobs as I could just to be able to keep the tyres on the bike and all that. And she used to be the manager of a Chicago rock cafe. So I used to do nights there, in between there and the coal, working down the coal yard. Just earned enough money to go race the bikes, you see. And I thought she was working in a nursing home. This was like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And I said, look, I bought the pub. I said, first thing is see if we can get it going as a pub, right?
Yeah.
And if not, then we'll do something with it. And I says, I'll give you the first opportunity to run it if you want. And that's what. And then she says she had to think about it because she was going to go nurse training. That's what she was going to do. So she had to think about it anyway. She took it on and then she ended up buying it off us a couple of years ago.
Fair
So it's
play.
theirs, yeah. It's theirs. Fair play. Fair play.
I'd love to know why it's called.
Maribon and Cleaver.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't know. I should know that.
But why? No, but it's one of the what you think of it. Imagine saying that to some
Wanky
go,
pub names.
get yourself down to the merit. All right, mate. All right, son. No problem.
Did you go to the toilet, by the way?
The piss buckets.
Very true.
Oh yeah.
Whose idea was that? That's an outstanding idea.
Loads of them. Yeah, what is there? There's a block on the wall, I think, with a con rod through it. Is there?
Yes.
Yeah, that was an R1 barrel. That was from V&M. Well, AIM Racing. That was that. Yeah.
I know I shouldn't be advertising as a bike in the pub, but that bike was that the one
Which
you
one is
raced?
it?
He's got the BSA triple.
Oh, is it? That's my dad's.
Is that your
No,
dad's
that's not
bike?
mine. That's not mine. Mine, yeah, obviously, mine's in there.
Yes.
That's my dad. That's the first race bike I ever rode. So that's my dad's. Yeah. I think he's got. I think was I maybe the no. He rode it. He was the last man to ride it. But I used to do. I've never raced it. I used to do. I'm not saying that. I raced it at Killer Lane once. I did race it once, but I did Beesumph. You heard of Beesumph? It's like a BSA and Triumph Owners Club. Yeah, and they used to do.
Down at Thruxton, I think.
They do it all over, but when that club sort of first started, they used to do a track day every year at Cadwell, and that's where I first got a chance. I was like 16, my dad let me go out and have a track day on his BSA. Pride and joy that was.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So what were you doing before that then? Motocross kind of?
No,
was it that
never
tradition?
raced.
Nothing. Literally
Never raced.
16
Yeah,
as
16.
a BSA.
Yeah, I'd had my AR-50. And I used to work all the jobs under the sun when I was a kid from like being 12-year-old. So I had a 1986 KH125 from like being 12-year-old or something. And then I got that, and then I got an AR-50 like when I was 16, and then just tuned that to the moon and crashed it. And then that's where I decided to go racing after that. But yeah, I'd not really done anything racing wise. Not as, never motocross, never done any of that.
So you literally ruined yourself straight off. Proper gearbox the wrong way around, the right way around. It's British, for God's sake. It's the right way around. So what was your first time like on a big bike, like a modern bike, shall we say? That must have been like, because for me, it was like a fucking rocket ship.
Yeah, I went on CBR 600, Mallory Park, CBR 600, 97. Ex-Dave Johnson. Yeah, Dave Dean, I think, was the team that he rode for. You remember that? This is years ago. I think Dave Johnson used to ride for him. Who was a truck driver where I work now. Yeah. And then who else was his teammate? It was my teammate at one bit, James Ellison. Yeah, he rode for and then I ended up, So I bought that 97 CBR 600 and just raced that for a couple of years, crashed my brains out.
Was that like sort of club racing at the time, or?
Yeah, at the time I think I had a race Derby Phoenix, Pegasus, and New Era.
Right.
Would you remember any of them? I don't know if any of those are on the go now.
No, Derby Phoenix isn't. New Era isn't.
It's Mallory Park, New Era, isn't it?
Is that
I think it's still going.
right? Okay.
I presume it is. Derby Phoenix folded a few years ago, though.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
Pegasus, and that was like Grantham and Pegasus Club. That's where I started my first race. I think it just crashed my brains out. Boy, you know what it's like.
Go on.
Sorry, no, I was about to say it's interesting how we end up just picking conversations out of thin air. It's like you had no motocross upbringing at all, and yet you've gone and got crashed down the. But we'll have to talk about you buying a motocross track down the road. That's a bit like I kind of expect, like me and Chrissy, it's like it's on our first rodeo. We're thinking this is going to be a piece of piss. We're going to talk about his motocross when we're daddy issues. I want a faster bike.
No. My dad didn't really want me to race.
Really?
No, he didn't want to do it. I think he could just see the amount of pain it put the family through with him racing, and then ended up, my dad, all the spare money, we used to go on racing. He used to have, I think he raced right up until 88, and he spanned himself at the Scarborough in '88, and I remember being in the ambulance with him. And just like to have a load of time off work, and it was just like a right pain for the family. And I think he probably could see what's the point, what's the gain from going racing. And I could, So he never encouraged me at all into racing.
So
all.
It was just like. Then he put you on his BSA at 16.
Yeah, he let me go on that because all I wanted to do was fanny about in the shed, and I watched him build it when I was a kid. I could go in the shed, but I had to shut up and sit on the bench. And sit. I was just mad. All I wanted to do was build stuff. All I wanted to do was build
dad?
stuff.
I think we have the same.
No, you can sit there, but he's not say out.
Patting you down before you leave. Where's my 10 spanner?
That's it. Yeah, some boy never really encouraged us, really.
Right.
But you could see, and then chance of this bike. Anybody like the chance of the bike? I put some money towards it. My dad helped me with the last bit to go buy this 97 CBR 600, and then bought it off. And then, he maybe come to a few races with us. But then I spent all my money on this bike, right? So I couldn't pass my car. I didn't have my car. My mum used to take me. My mum used to take me dad's work. My dad works van. Yeah. But I just wanted it. I really wanted it.
And
really
then
They could see that though, couldn't they? So
from club racing, was it a case of, did you go sort of straight into Superstock 6 or the equivalent of Superstock 600 at BSB? Or
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah. So I did 2 years of club racing. Never had any success really. I might have won an odd race, but I was like midfield. Mm-hmm. But I just loved it. That's all I wanted to do. And then that was the first. That would have been I think. So I raced 99, 2000, and then 2001. I think was the first year of. It was called Junior Superstock then. I think. So I did that, but I didn't know what I was doing. So I'd sold everything I had and bought a K1 GSXR 600, everything, right, and then just. Just turned it into what I thought was a race bike, which at the time wasn't really right because I just had a skitsy one. So you've got to have a skitsy and a temperature gate, and I didn't know that you just
plug out the back.
That's the one.
And
you don't,
at this point, were you kind of doing it yourself with like a few mates?
Yeah, me and a couple of mates. My dad had gone to an odd meeting with us, but it was just all me. It was just all I passed my test then. So we had a bloody wobble box in our caravan on the back of the tranny and just wobble box. And my brother always calls them wobble box. Just go racing. But I was shite. I just crashed my brains out. I was shite. Mm-hmm. I was shite, but I loved it. I did not give a monkeys.
So it's interesting, like Chris is saying, when you took that step up to like British level.
Yeah.
What was your drive to like? You could have gone crash your brain out at club level forever. If you just went, I just want to go out riding. But you obviously had a draw to go to that higher level. What?
To be honest, I don't know. I just think
happened.
Because it's not like I'd sort of reached my peak at club racing where I was winning everything. No, I was just like midfield. I was like, if that, right, at club racing. And I just thought, that sounds mint. I just wanted a challenge. Oh, yeah, that sounds mint. I never made out I was any good or anything. I just went and had a go.
And how did it go at first? Like first
crashed my brains out. Crashed my brains out. Yeah, I don't know. I must have crashed like 15 times in the first year. Yeah, something like that. I can't remember the number, but it was something like that. I just crashed my brains out. And just all my money fixing bikes, working jobs, just working wherever I could to earn enough money to go fix the bike and go to the next race.
What age were you at this point? So a full-time work at this point?
Yeah. I'd have been 21 maybe.
Right.
21, 22. Yeah, something like that.
Just crashing your brains.
And just crashed my brains out.
At this point, I
loved it. I fucking loved it, man. I loved it. That's all I wanted to do. And you sort of get into that, doing the British Championship, it was a form in a way of indoctrination. You just think that is, if you're going to go racing a motorbike, that's how you do it. You go to that event and that's how you do it, and it costs you this much money, and I was willing to pay that price. I accepted. This and just so well organised one, and it's just that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do.
At this point, were you considering road race? Like
no, fucking TT. I just thought that's just a different sort of riding. That's not. I don't know, because I was maybe in that bubble of British Championship, and I would start. I was still shite. I might have had a top 10 or 2, maybe, but I was, I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't tearing any trees. But road racing then, I don't know if because I was in that bubble, you was maybe made to look down on road racing, and I think that was generally the case. Mm-hmm. I think in that British Championship thing, that's if you went racing at the highest level, you was in that BSB paddock, and then anything outside of that, you look down your nose at them. And I just generally thought that's how it was. And in a way, I suppose that's what I was doing. But I still wasn't fucking strutting about. I was a M303 GRH. That was a tranny van we had. That was my dad's works van, and then we had a shower bank behind it. And then she just got racing awning off the side. I don't think you're allowed them now, are you?
I don't know.
It was telling me that the other week. Yeah.
What, off the side of your van?
I don't think so.
Shut up,
At
man.
British Championship. I think that's right. It was telling me. I do a load of boys' engines for British Supersport, and they was telling me there's some rules on what vans you can have in the pits, and I thought, all right, yeah, mint. I'm not joking. That they told me that this one long ago.
I've just bought a bloody awning for my van.
I'm not involved. No, it's a wobble. You're not allowed to own off a wobble box or something. I think that's like anyway.
That makes
sense.
They were
telling me this. And I thought, all right, okay. I don't get involved with the racing at all now. In other words, I just do engines. I don't get involved. I just thought, fuck.
How many years were you at the BSB?
2 years. 2 years.
Right.
Did you just run out of money?
No, I had a falling out with Stuart Higgs.
I think that was in your autobiography.
Yeah, it was in my book. Yeah, it was in my book. Yeah, that's sort of fair play. Was it something? I was just, I'm a dickhead, young, dumb, full of.
Was it? I read that years ago, but was it something like you'd went to speak to him and he wasn't looking at you, so you put his laptop down?
No. What happened was it was my fault. To be honest, I must have been doing all right. Because I finished second at a junior superstar, and there was like a load of doers. I was sort of getting, this was like my second year. I was sort of getting there, even though, like I say, I'd not done anything before. I'd just done a couple of years of club racing and gone and done that. And I was sort of worrying the podium. And this one meeting, I finished second. I was like, fucking mint, best thing in the world, mint. And then I jumped a chicane or something, right? But I'd lost the place and I'd lost time. Right, but this was a common chicane to jump or something, and they'd said the rules at the start of the meeting. If you jump the chicane, they'd give you a 10-second penalty. But if you jump the chicane and you didn't gain anything, then you was all right. Anyway, I was right, and they were wrong. Just I was a young dickhead, and I had to go to a fucking. A hearing. This was at the meeting, right? You had to go. I didn't have to go to. It's a long time ago, boy. This is like bloody 20 years ago. This I've slept since then. Hey, so I had to go and appeal. So I appealed, and then I can just remember coming out, and I didn't win, obviously, right? And then Stuart Higgs said to me, "Did you get sorted in a smart way?" And I just fucking smashed the laptop. I called him. And I think I've shook hands with him since because I fucking had a lot of water under the bridge between then and now.
It's been 20 years, then.
But no, that was because I went back to do the British when I rode. I can't remember who it was I rode for. But I sort of went back to do the British, and I sort of made a point of going, "You got a bit of man," and shook his hand, and he was spot on. Spot on. Look what he's done. Look what the championship he's done. I'm not into it, but look what he's done. Fucking hell, man.
Do you kind of follow it at a distance, or do you watch BSB? Or no? Do you just have like an idea of like how the Neve lads are getting on and stuff?
Yeah, I do, because I helped them. I've helped them for years. I did the motors for them, and then they rode a couple of my bikes. I think.
Tim was on the Supersport bike. And Tom was on the Suzuki.
But that's what there was. One was the Steve Wacky. And one was the Nigel Racing.
That's the one, yes, yeah.
Get it right. That's the dogs. We named them after the dogs. Yeah. Steve Wacky. Maury Wacky. We took it off Maury Wacky. Yeah. You know what? I don't think Mr. Honda would like that. Because I rode for Honda. I'd rode for Honda, and I wanted a Steve Wacky and a Nigel Racing Corporation. And I did have a Nigel Racing Corporation sticker on my helmet. And they wouldn't really say, but Harvey wasn't impressed. He wasn't impressed. So I did take it off to try and keep the peace. But just like the dogs in it. It's just the dogs. I just make stupid things up. So I sort of, to be honest, I gave him the bike. I did the motors for him. But to be honest, I sort of didn't have any interest, to be honest. I know it's sort of, I'm not being disrespectful. I didn't have a disrespect. I fucking got into what I do.
Busy.
I got into what I do. I'm busy, but I'm into whatever I'm into. I'd sort of done that for years, and I'd sort of, fucking hell, we could go then to the story of me crash at the Ulster and realising, and me push bike rides in America. We could go to that and then say, I did that push bike ride, and then realised I'd retired. I sort of packed in at 15 because I got myself out of hospital. I got on that push bike race. And I did that push bike race. You have a lot of time to think, boy. You're riding 20 hours a day, right? Sleeping in a ditch. I had a lot of time to think. And I just thought to myself, you know what? I should have retired 4 years before then. Right, because I didn't realise I wasn't enjoying it. I didn't realise that until I stopped doing it. And I stopped doing it and I was like, oh shit, I wasn't enjoying it. Mm-hmm. Why did you make yourself do that? Why did you put yourself... And the only reason I put myself through it, right, because I was sort of semi-competitive. I was all right? And I could be semi-competitive without doing anything, right? I could go to work, do all my job, do everything that I do, just turn up and race, and you'd be there or thereabout. But to be honest, I didn't enjoy it. And that's sort of... Go on, where do we get to? Where was the first bit we got to? What got me onto that? We're not enjoying the racing. Tim and Tom.
Yes,
and not being that bothered about. I was always bothered about the engines. How's the engines going? I'm always mad for that. I'm mad for fettling and fucking about. But then doing that push bike race made me realise the only reason I started racing was because I like fucking about in my shed. Mm-hmm. And now I've gone back to where
it started.
Yeah, which is I'm now. I think I'm at the absolute pinnacle of fucking about in a shed, doing the discipline that I'm doing now. So really, I've got that. Yeah, I was mad into it when I was doing it, but now I've come out of it. I sort of look down on that now. Now, the fucking men are fucking trying to do 300 mile an hour in a mile. Like, that's what I'm into. That's what I'm into. Oh yeah, them fuckers fucking about on mopeds now. No. I'm trying to do something serious here, boys. I'm trying to do 300 mile an hour. You know what I mean? Without being disrespectful, that sounds shit. On that topic, I'm into whatever I'm into. And like then, oh yeah, I thought that was last week. I fucking now. Yeah.
On that topic, how's the 300 mile an hour?
All I've done, I've had shit year. I've just blown stuff up.
Right.
All I've just blown stuff to death.
Is that purely an engineering thing, or is it purely a skill thing, or in terms of riding at that speed, or is it a mix?
That's a good question. I would say,
Nice.
like, I got wrapped into Triumph 400 mile an hour job, right?
Yeah.
They asked me, like, they ploughed a shit. Like, the Triumph America they said, right, we need to try and not reinvent, sort of revitalise the Bonneville name. And I know what we're going to do, because the Streamline motorbike, no motorbike has ever done 400 miles an hour, right? Like the Rocky Robinson, the Ack, that's done like 373, I think it's done, right? And no one's ever done 400 miles. I know what we're going to do. We're going to chuck a load of money at this project. We're going to be the first bike to do 400 miles an hour at Bonneville. That sort of reinvents the Bonneville name, right? So Triumph America was doing this, and they've got like $5 million down the road, some sort of number like that. Jason DeSalvo was driving it, because he's driving and riding. It's a bit of a grey area. What are you doing? And nothing. They hadn't achieved anything other than blowing a load of stuff up and had a fire. But he's obviously a fucking mega doer, isn't he? He's a mega doer. But just there's so many. No one's ever done it. And I thought Triumph, like, what a great firm. What a great firm, right? But I genuinely thought, I suppose, as they could write a check to 400 mile an hour, right? Yeah. But I think they got into, they probably got, so the Jason DeSalvo, Triumph America was running it, right? Yeah. Jason DeSalvo was riding it. The however many millions of dollars in, and Triumph UK said, hang on, how much more are we going to be? What we've got to show for it? So Triumph UK took over the project.
I was wondering that.
And that's where I got involved. So they said, right, because Jason DeSalvo didn't really want to be involved anymore, because he realised how risky it was. Yeah. Because it fucking was. Because I just like, you fuck off, mate. You're going in a straight line. Fucking what's it? Just open.
Yeah, no, this is the This is the bit that's getting interesting.
What's the fastest you've been at the moment?
In the Triumph?
No, in period.
Officially 276, unofficially 282.
Right.
But the Triumph, like however many millions they've chucked at that, I did 273 in that. So I've gone faster in my home built bike than that. But my Hayabusa. Yeah.
Can we talk about the risks side of it? So your eyes lit up when you said that. So let's have a go.
Holy fuck.
I've seen
excuse my French.
I've seen a YouTube video of you in something where it was at Bonneville, where it's an onboard thing. I think you were only doing 70 at the time, and that looked terrifying.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. Well, I Triumph asked me to get involved, and I thought, okay, what's to that, mate? Yeah, mint. And I didn't get paid, but I could take mates with me. So every time I used to take a couple of mates with me. It's mint. I used to go in there. It's mint. And I thought, I'm not getting paid. It was mega. But they did lend me a Triumph Tiger 800, which I raced on Maybo Beach for a couple of seasons. She was mint. Right. And we did we went fairly quick, fairly soon, really. Like the first sort of time we was there, took a lot of getting used to. So we spent, I got used to it within a day, right? And the day after, we sort of pushed on, tried to work through some problems. And then we got to 273. But there was a load of shit I could go on to about rules of how fast, how soon you can go, and you've got to have a license to go this speed. So I wasn't legal to go that speed, that speed, that fast. So they put a limiter on the bike. Yeah, you've got to have a license to go above a certain speed.
So what do you mean? So is it
the
qualification
FIM
kind of thing?
Yes.
So you click that speed, you get
and then but then when you're going to go above this speed, that means you've got to wear this different clothing. Yeah, which is
wear the fast stuff and go off for a spin.
Yeah. But it's not
be an insurance thing, won't it?
I suppose. But it's, like FIM, whatever it is. But I did that 273, and I fucking from that moment, holy fuck, I was hooked. Like you just thought it's going in a straight line, but Jesus Christ, there is so much to it.
Is there a point where, as you're going up, you get to 180 and then 200? Is there a point where it's you feel like you're kind of going into a new dimension, like where it?
No, because you're in such a massive open space. you're in such a massive, you don't really get an idea of the speed, but it's just, you need so much feel from everything to, but the problem is with that, is just that right at the front of it, right? And then the rear wheels here, it's like 35 foot long, right? So by the time that back wheel stepped out, thought you don't know about it because you're sat on the front wheel. So you just, and then they tried to lean so much on the traction control, and just, because I was trying to ride the thing off the boost until I got to top gear. And when we got to top gear, then I'd try and bring it into the boost, right? But then they didn't want me doing that. They just wanted me to roll it wide open and let the traction control sort it all out. But then we ended up putting it on its side a couple of times. And then, I could tell for
before you go, if in terms of like the risk, do you think of it like numerically about this is the risk of it going seriously wrong? Or
yeah, definitely. Because I fucking love. That's why I do all that. Well, we did 273 with loads of issues, right? We went back probably 2 months after then, and I fucking wrote a will. I wrote a will because I thought, fuck, this is going to get messy. And I fucking love all of that, but I fucking need it right will. I wrote a will after that.
Leave it to Nigel.
Nigel got a lot. But I've been like, fucking all my lathes and, hold me, important, that stuff that I love.
Was that the most nervous you've been before?
Yeah, it was, yeah. But then we got out there and just everything went wrong. The weather was shit, and then there was this wrong with the bike, and there was loads of stuff. And and to be honest, since then, we've never had a proper go at it since then. And then, like probably 2 years ago, Triumph started making the right noises about going back again. But now the bike's in the museum, so nothing's happening. And then that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I got hooked on it through my involvement with Triumph, right, in going fast, because I've never had anything like that.
And the aim was to do 400
miles an hour. That was the goal, 400 miles an hour. 400 miles an hour. No one's ever done 400, but that's a streamlined motorbike, which is nothing like a motorbike other than it's got two wheels, it's got a motorbike engine. But it doesn't have to have a motorbike engine.
But this is the thing I'm thinking of right now. We all race motorcycles. We're the marshmallow bit on the top of a metal rocket, aren't we?
Yeah.
You eject off that at any speed, the marshmallow can only take so much impact. That's the truth. Now, from that, it's a correct me when I'm wrong. When I'm wrong, like there's a roll cage in it.
Yeah.
So, in my mind, being totally naive to it, what pressure? In theory, it's a bit like you're going to have G's and everything.
If it gets in a barrel roll, like you could see like 100 G in a barrel roll, that'll kill you.
There we are. That's the risk I'm talking about. 100
If it gets in a barrel roll, you'd be dead. And that's why I knew all of this before I started it, and that's why I do all these stupid things.
Do you know, like, say when you were doing the TT, you on record, you said like numerous times that it was at the time in your headspace you felt it was worth risking your life for.
Yes. I only said that early on.
Yeah.
I only said that early on.
Are you in the same mind space about this? Is this
the 300 mile an hour job? Yes, I'm willing to pay that price. That's if you're not willing to accept that, then don't bother doing it. But then the 400 mile an hour job came to an end about 3 years ago, and obviously I could never afford to try, because you need a bottomless pit, really. You don't really know. Like I think that's what Triumph realised. Shit, this isn't as easy. We can't just write a check for 400 mile an hour.
Put a number on it. Can you put a number on it? No. Like if someone said like multi-trillionaire comes up and just goes, right guy, for the shits and giggles, how much do you want?
To build something from scratch?
Yeah.
Well, I'm on with it now. I'm riding a helicopter engine thing now for Alex.
How much more money do you need?
We don't know. No one's ever done this. It's sort of a bottomless pit. Is it going to be $1 million? Is it going to be $2 million? I don't know. Is it going to be 100,000? I don't know.
Do you know the whole Bonneville thing? Is the air quite thinner there?
No, it's not. It's only like 4,000 meters. It's not that high. Is it 4,000 meters? Yeah.
All right. And what about? And is the I mean, is that the perfect place to do it, just purely because it's flat?
No, it's not. It's not now. Bolivia in South America is the perfect place now.
Right, okay.
Bonneville has been used that much because they've been taking the salt off the salt flats and getting the brine out of it, which is used in some process for making something. I'm not sure what. And they've been putting the water back on there, but without the salt in it, and it's knackered the salt flat. So really, Bonneville now is knackered. It's all right for doing like medium speed stuff, but going fast on a bike with something with 2 wheels, you need it perfect. Yeah, you be so for the foreseeable future, Bonneville is knackered. I'm not sure many people wouldn't want to hear that, but Bonneville is knackered. So now, if anything is going to happen, it's got to happen in Lake Garda in Australia, or
is that similar sort of altitude as well?
I don't know what that is. I know. Whatever you are, you're a 4-hour flight to anything, to any civilization. Where you do it in Australia, and the other place is Bolivia, but then you're miles away from anything in Bolivia, and then you've got to get all the infrastructure out there. If you're going to go out there, you need to get all your, because stuff's going to go wrong. You need to get all your tools, your machining gear, everything out there. It's just going to be a right muck on. It's going to be a right muck on.
What history books? There must be history books for those places, though, for the speed records.
Yeah.
My God,
Bolivia's only a recent.
Yeah,
people have only recently started going there over the past And the only reason that's sort of a realistic option now is because of the Chinese. The Chinese have put all the bollocks in there so they can mine the lithium. So that's the only reason. They're just like it's in the Union, I think that's how I say it, like salt flats, right? But there's no civilization at all there. But right, the Chinese knew they could get the lithium out there, so that's why they put a load of infrastructure in there, so you can start. So there's a bit of civilization there. So that sort of made it realistic where you can fly in there, you can get your bike there, and then so that's. But obviously, Triumph don't want to do that because that's Bolivia. It's not bloody. It's not Bonneville, is it?
But that's
the whole reason was behind just to sort of
That's like putting the TT on a different island.
Yeah,
it doesn't. The history's not. No, but it's
so that's that. All of that is. I'm not. We're still planning on doing that, going to Bolivia with this other project I'm involved in. But it's only that's just sort of ticking over, slowly ticking over.
So
then that's a 400 mile an hour with the Streamline motorbike. What I'm trying to do, my personal job, a bike in my shed, is the 300 mile an hour.
That's what I mean. No, but still, you're talking about G's, and you like in that bike you did only 200. Sorry, only 270 odd, 300 mile an hour, and that's with no shell. Is that correct?
Yeah. It's semi-fair. It's fully semi-fair. Yeah,
that is.
Yeah, but it's just but the numbers with those things are mental. Like you boys, those super bikes are just these things are another level. They're just like you can't really. Like, I've learned a shitload through. Like, I can take the start. What sort of set it off really? Like I raced my turbo bike at Pikes Peak, fucking like 6 years ago or something like that, 7 years ago. And I used to get my turbo bits through Jack Frost, who's like the bedrock of turbocharging in the UK, turbocharging motorbikes. He's the man. I've learned so much through him, right? And I was at the Northwest one year, right? And I went to go see Jack to go pick a set of pistons up because he got me a set of pistons for me Pikes Peak bike. And he just finished like a K5 GSX 1000 bog standard road bike with a blower on it. And he says, I've just finished that, get a go on it. And this was like, I've just finished the Northwest. No, I've just been at the Northwest. What's the Northwest like? Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
So I think this must have been like on a Wednesday. So I must have been riding the Taz like superbike, like with Carlos Fandango superbike on the Tuesday. And then the Wednesday, I'd had the Wednesday off, and then went to go see Jack to go buy some bloody turbo pistons for me bloody project. And he says, I just finished this K5, like old school K5, right? Just get a go on that. I took that down the road. Holy fuck. That my motorbike sort of future was fucked from that point on, right? I'd been, the day before, I'd been riding like priceless factories Suzuki superbike at the Northwest, doesn't get any faster, right? What a weapon that thing was, right? And then I get from that onto a bog standard road bike, what looked like a bog standard road bike with a blower on it. I like blowing a bar into it. That holy fuck blew my mind. And I thought, right, I don't want any of that anymore. All I want to do is that.
Did you get
scared the shit out of me? Just wild. When there isn't words for it, boy. There isn't words for how fast these things go. And that was so much. Yeah.
You're like that.
Yeah, just we was at. Where did I go? Well, it was such a Cottesmore, was it last year? I think I did 276 at Cottesmore last year, and Rutter was there on his RCV, the Honda, Honda thing. And I let him have a go on my bike. He let me have a go on his bike. And it just such a nice thing to get on a bike and just hold it flat out. It's just so nice because that thing, I let Rutter go on that thing of mine and he was like, holy fuck. But it's just the numbers of those bikes. They're just in another league, right? He'd probably beat me with that sort of RCV thing. He'd probably beat me to 80 mile an hour, probably, because my thing's wild. Just wild. You can't manage it. You can't manage the thing.
Do you have to have specialist dynos? Because you can't, like, the turbo slip on the dyno, like a regular dyno.
No, my dyno will, yeah.
You have your own dyno?
Yeah. You put it up to like,
That's the way to cure it, build a turbo dyno.
Yeah. It's just like a Dynajet 380i. It's just,
really? It picks up the turbo all right without spinning on the drum?
Yeah, just strap it down.
Fucking that's some straps, boy.
It's no bother. But yeah, you can't pull the big boost on the dyno because you can't hold it back for long enough to make the boost. That's the problem. I will never see the boost on a dyno than the boost I see in the real world. So really, we're guessing at the numbers that the things are making. We're sort of guessing because you can't get them dynos to hold back. There isn't a big enough brake to hold them back to be able to build a boost up, over a long enough period. That's the thing. So it just gives you an idea. But yeah, that bike of Rutter's, right? He'd probably beat me to 80, but by the time we're doing 100, or he's doing 100, I'm doing 200. Right? So the most sort of longitudinal G you'd see with any Grand Prix bike would be like 0.8 longitudinal G. You'd see that between 60 and 80 mile an hour. Right, but I'm pulling 0.8 between 220 and 250. Right, yeah. So it's like the numbers, yeah. And I'm like at 120, I'm doing like 2.2 longitudinal G. Like the numbers.
See, the telly will never ever do that justice. When you watch them on the telly, that looks fast, but. Yeah, the way that
the numbers just blow your mind. Like you can't really unless unless you rode one,
Yeah.
then we'd be sat, we'd be comparing.
In terms of the longitudinal, the force, on a bike, I've, like say super bikes, the acceleration doesn't feel like crazy. Where when you're in a car, if you do the same thing, I don't know if it's just because it's the force like on your shoulders, and you almost feel like you're getting like pushed back into the seat. So even if you had the same acceleration, it feels a lot more in a car to me.
Yeah, true. It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
You've got that Volvo thing, haven't you?
Yeah.
Have you still got that?
Yes, I've had that years out.
Have you seen that? Is
No,
it
I
a
haven't seen
Volvo
that.
Vox?
I'll show you that. That's in the shed. Yeah.
Yeah, super.
Yeah. That's 800 horsepower. That's a weapon. We run that on alcohol, and I'll run that.
That doesn't look like. Do you know? If you didn't know what it was though, and you just seen it like in town, and then you put your foot down.
It's wild, but it's not that. Well, it is. Yeah. But it's not. It's so usable. I've done like thousands of miles in that.
Really?
It blows up fairly regularly. I've blown up for 2 years though, but it's doing big numbers. But it's like quicker than a Veyron. Like from 100 to 200, it's quicker than a Veyron. So it's fast.
Imagine the AA picking you up.
I know. Could have a job. But actually, what a pain to work. It's a bloody pain there. But yeah, I've fixed everything on it, but I didn't build it initially. A bloke called Matthias Vogt built it in Sweden.
Right.
He works for Koenigsegg. So a load of gear out the back doors from Koenigsegg.
Did he also have a hand in building Frankenstein by any chance?
It's some piece of kit, boy. It's some piece of kit. I'll show you. It's in the shed.
Great. Have you still got the Merlin engine on a trailer?
No, I sold that.
Oh, did you?
Well, I sort of sold that because I had a bit of it was a bit of an honour for me. I sold it to Andy Cowell, who was like the brains behind. He worked at Cosworth for years and worked at HPP. They make the Mercedes Formula One engine. Oh. So I got to meet him. I knew he wanted an engine, so I got a message to him, and he rang me up and says, "Yeah, we did a deal with that engine." So it was an honour for me to sell it to him. Yeah,
fair enough.
So yeah, what a boy. So I sold it to buy a bloody valve seat machine, because I do everything with engines, but I also sub valve seats out. So now I do everything. I've got like a Rottler SG7, so I'll put a real trick valve seat machine, so I can do everything. Yeah.
I know I'm coming for a refresh next year. I know it's,
it's for me doing me. I do customer support a lot. Just my own stuff. Yeah. You know what the motorbike job's like. It's just such a to do them right. You've got to spend a lot of bloody money, and I don't want. If I don't want to do them right, I don't want to get involved. I don't want to get involved because it blows up. I'm a dickhead. I don't want to be involved. I don't want to be involved.
I bet you're in your element with all your things and.
Fanning about in the shed, love it. But that's why I'm sort of back to where I started. That's why I went racing. You know, I just because I like building stuff in sheds and.
Have you got any projects in the pipeline that you haven't started yet, but that you're wanting to do?
Yeah, me pick up. I've had that bloody years. I still haven't got started. I've got the engine and the gearbox together. I've got it's like a '94 Escort RS Cosworth, but I bought it off with a bloke in Grimsby. Cut the back off it, right, and it's a pickup. So it's an Escort RS Cosworth, genuine. I've got the logbook for it. It's a genuine Escort RS Cosworth with the back cut off, and I've got a Nissan GTR with a transaxle putting in the back, an electric motor setup in the front. It's a trick thing. It's a trick thing. That's a long way off being done. So, but really, any spare time and money is on the Hayabusa. But just blowing stuff up this year, no gain this year.
I have got to ask. So, how does truck mechanic, BSB, TT rider end up being a farmer?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Where was that? I only ever wanted to be a farmer.
Right.
I only ever wanted to be a farmer. Yeah, I was ploughing yesterday. I've been truck fitting today. I was pretty worked on with them. Started at 5 this morning. Finished at 1, half 1 or something. Yeah, and I was ploughing yesterday, and then there was drilling straight behind us. I like from a girlfriend from years ago, where Dad owned a farm or ran a farm, and then I used to go a bit of corn carting for him, just a bit of general work. I used to love it.
You ever heard the term cab slags? You ever heard that? It's a Northern Irish thing.
Go on.
Cab slags.
Go on.
No, just like basically when someone jumps in a cab with you, and when you're working away, you're a cab slag. So
is that right?
Just in case you get called that, Chrissy, by accident or something like that, there you go.
Is that right? No, we don't have many of them.
Guy Martin, the cab slag.
Well, maybe. No, I just love it. I love it. Like round here, I was swimming in bloody tractors. I've always had tractors. I've had tractors for years, but I've just contracted them out. You know, I just service them and just contract them out, and then.
Because that's the good thing with it. Like you mentioned the Neves, you know, they're farmers, hard-working lads.
Yeah,
they do it. It's good that, and local as well. You know, the fact that you've got that connection, it's good. It's
they're good lads.
Sport, you know what I mean?
Do you know, when I'm down in this area, I know it's miles away from where I live, but I feel so at home of there's just so many racing people around here. There was a time last year I broke down on do you know the new road in around Lincoln, that new road they put in. I broke down there and I put a picture like on my Instagram, just like waiting for the RAC, and within like a few minutes my old mechanic came past and stopped, and then I had it's such a hub for, like, you've got like Boasty there, you've got obviously the Neves,
you've had Boasty on this,
Yeah, we have,
Boasty,
you have.
He's a legend, isn't he?
Boasty's
And
the
then
man.
Jason O'Halloran lives very close. You've got all the Honda connections. It's just, it's a very, I mean, like in the northeast where we live, there's not many sort of people.
is there not?
Me, him, Barry Teasdale.
There
we are.
Is
that right?
There's
We've got some other lads
There's a
coming
good
up.
few young ones coming through. Like there's Franco
loads.
Bourne who Boasty's kind of mentoring through.
Okay.
But
we have nothing near us, if you know what I mean. It's like
Track wise, we're Croft.
but even Crofts are over an hour away, you know. But then
Yeah, I
because
suppose.
of the noise side of it, they barely have any motorcycle meetings.
I didn't know that.
And we have really Knockhill, as far as British is
Bloody
concerned.
hell.
His
That's
is
as
local.
near as you, yeah.
My local's the Isle of Man. You know, as far as getting to
Bloody hell.
Hersham, getting straight over.
Yeah.
It's mad.
going back to the car side of things, I know. I think it was in your latest book about Phil Reed's. Was it an Evo?
Oh, Jesus Christ,
He's
yeah.
been doing
What's a weapon?
Time
yeah.
attacks in them. What's
Yeah.
that like?
Weapon. He trusted me in that. But then he let me out in his car last year and I crashed it. Which, that one I'm proud
The
of.
Evo?
No. He got a Nissan GTR Le Mans thing that I went and crashed. Yeah, what a dickhead.
Where did you crash
Cadwell.
that? Oh,
Cadwell. Just because I don't really know what I'm doing. But I raced his Evo. Well, he asked me to race it because he had there was a meeting, a time attack meeting. He was doing like the full series, but there was one meeting he couldn't do, and he says, "Would I drive?" I said, "Fucking right, well, yeah, I'm in." So yeah. He put me through my arts test. You know, to do like what's the licensing? Go on, what do they call them? The licensing lot for the cars. I can't remember it.
I have no idea.
Anyway, you have to do an arts test to be able to get a license. Anyway, he helped me get that. I went and raced it. But I don't really know what I'm doing, right? You boys, obviously, you've got a feel for the bike job. So I just got in that car and I ended up winning. But I don't really. But the car was so good. Right?
is that like the best car in the country for that sort of thing? Like time attack?
I think it was, and now sort of stuff like ex Le Mans cars are coming in, like GT3 stuff. They're they're just the big money. The big money, those things. Yeah, but just the power. They probably wouldn't have as much power as what his Evo had, but it's just the chassis are so much. Yeah, there's so much more track. How do I word it? Like a Le Mans setup designed to go around tracks, whereas like an Evo was probably really designed to
Off-road.
be a rally car,
Aye.
really, and you've adapted it and made it a bit wider and put different diffs in it to try and. But the 4-wheel drive system was a massive game. Just learned so much with that. What a piece of kit.
Do you know that transit that you were doing for the
Nürburgring. Yeah,
have you still got that?
sold that.
How's it? What?
Or did I sell that to buy? I sold that to buy someone else. Yeah.
Do you know, like, say if you took that to when the best you possibly got it on like a perfect day at Cadwell, what sort of lap time would you be able to do around?
Oh, there's a question.
Yeah, no. I think I took it for a track day last year just before I sold it.
All right.
You do like a 140 in it or something. Yeah.
Bloody
Yeah, but without chicane.
Oh,
Without
right,
chicane.
okay. I was going to say there'll be a lot of people
That would
listening
have been tight, that.
who do track days, and they'll be thinking, bloody hell, it's
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but it was like 500 horsepower. Like I took it on track days, and like boys would go around you around the outside because you only had to overtake on the left.
Yes.
Right. But in a straight, there wouldn't be anything there quicker. It was quick. It was fast. Say it was only like 500 horsepower, 550 horsepower or something. It's fast.
That's mad.
Yeah, for a van. But then I had it in the shed, right? What was I going to do with it?
Yeah.
What was I going to do with it? I'm just trying to think of the bloody Marcus. Like Marcus's boy, and he's put it on the road. He's made a mint job of it. What a boy. He's made a mint job of it.
Oh, dear.
Mint job. Yeah, he's made it proper legal and brake. He's got a camera so we can see the engine in the back. Me and a couple of mates did that over.
You wouldn't be looking at the road if you thinking, don't.
I know he does set fire. Yeah. But he's a weapon of a thing. Yeah, just me and a load of mates from work. Like me. Like Tim Dre, another mate from there, he made us the wishbone setup from the back. He adapted a bloody, like a racing Land Rover Defender back end. He got that, and I made he mounted all the engine in the chassis and then made all the bits for it. Just like a couple of lads from work welded the exhaust. So it meant, it meant, just mint thing to be doing. Mint thing, and then went racing the Nürburgring, and then job was done. That's that's all it was ever built for. What am I going to do with it now? And I'm just I was like, I could do this with it, but yeah.
Now, we regularly get a lot of messages about, especially when we have anyone that's done any sort of Irish road racing.
Yeah, go on.
And there's a lot of obviously keen fans that listen to the show.
Love the Irish.
And like, for example, we had Conor Cummins on the other day, and we talked through his whole career, and we just didn't. We sort of missed the Irish roads, and we had a few messages being like, why didn't we talk about it? So, and I know you after the sort of BSB thing, you probably got stuck in over there. What have you got any good stories, or like what was your favourite tracks? And
like the first, just the whole thing. I probably went from the British, because you were sort of in that bubble of that's all you thought racing was. So I had told Stuart Higgs what I thought of him at the time, and I just thought, fuck it, I don't need that. So I just thought, right, I'm cutting my nose off to spite my face. I don't need you. I'll just go do something else. I just thought, I went and raced Scarborough like a couple of weeks after, and I thought I did all right. Like I won or something. I thought, all right, I'm all right at this. And then I was due to go. No, I went from Scarborough and I got talking to a bloke called Leslie Muir, who was road racing Ireland.
He still is, yeah.
Is he still? Does he still do it? I don't really know what the crack is.
Yeah, he's still the editor, yeah.
Is he?
Is he?
Anyway. I don't know
He's
if you know.
he's part of it.
Right, okay.
A massive part of the Irish scene.
And
anyway.
he saw me at Scarborough and says, right, you ought to try and, because you're doing all right, you ought to try and get over and do an Irish race. So we went and did Kells. You heard of Kells?
Oh, God.
Have you ever raced it?
I haven't, and I'm gutted.
Because that was the first road race I did. Jesus Christ. Well, so obviously I've been racing around Cadwells and Brands Hatches at British Championships, right? And then Scarborough was sort of, it was sort of a road race, but it's not really a road race. Not really. It's not really a road race.
Painted curbs, closed off. It's not like you've got dumper lorries going down it. I agree.
No. It's great. And yes.
Completely agree.
It's the closest thing we've got over here.
It's the closest thing we've got. And what a great meeting. What a great meeting. But yeah, we get me, my brother, and a lad called Jim Andrews. You know, he's a rum lad. We went over in, I'm just trying to think of the reg of the van. It was a W reg tranny. That was the first type of like the max. It was like a W173 JDO. That was the reg of the van, right? We went over in that. I know, I like my reg from your pants, right? So we went over in that. Right, went to Kells, and then we was genuine, like you've heard it loads, I bet, right? Where's the track? You're on it. It was proper one of those moments, just cow shit and like fucking jumps and Jesus Christ, blew my mind, right? First race out, right, qualified all right, but I took Milky Quail out, right, and I hurt him. And I was just like, because I was riding like a dick. You know, like I've just gone from British Championship to doing that. You don't ride the same. And that's, you know what I mean? It's not really, you don't ride.
The gentleman code kind of.
Yeah, I didn't know any of that.
You didn't get the memo.
No, I didn't get the memo. So, yeah, took him out and I felt like a right dick. And his sponsor was shouting at me and I was like, I'm sorry, you know. Anyway, I went out in the next couple of races and I won them. Like, but it wasn't
because you
like
knocked everyone else off.
I knocked everyone else off. Yeah, yeah. It was like the support. It was the support which she was allowed up to 750, I think.
Yes, hi.
And I was on my junior superstock bike, just a standard 600, and I won both of them. And like went off to Ireland, right? And I must have come out with like £3 prize money. And I thought, well, hang on. What was I doing? I sort of indoctrinating into going to the British Championship and like, having to work all of the jobs to be able to just earn enough money to put tyres on my bike and then crash damage and then beg and borrow just to be able to get by to go race, to go to Ireland, right? And to come back with, I thought, bloody hell. So that was me from then on. And then I thought, I'll go do the rest of the season. And then they took the licence off me for what I'd done. Because to protest, I think, at the British Championship, to appeal, you had to pay. It's so much you had to put like a fee up to appeal. And obviously I'm a dickhead then. So fucking didn't listen to me, did they? And I was right, so I just cancelled the cheque. So that's why I lost my licence. So from then on, I didn't race any more that year. And from then on, I just ran on an MCUI licence, as I am still am now. Right. MCUI, Irish, brilliant, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There we go then. Yeah. So, like, going over to Ireland, you don't have to pay
start permission. No. When I race outside of Ireland, I need start permission, but anything in Ireland is mint.
Right.
So, but now, like I told you with the CRMC, because that's a great club, right? Yes. Great club and a great meeting, but I'm thinking I'm then waiting there all day to go and race at the end of it. I put the bike in the back of the van and said, that's the last time I'm racing. No disrespect to the CRMC club, because it's a great club, but I did not enjoy it. It wasn't the meet. It was just me racing around them circuits I've been racing around for years. I'm just like, no, I fancy a change. So yeah, any racing I do now is just in Ireland. Yeah, just road stuff.
And going straight from the road racing in Ireland, was it that year that you went straight to the TT, or did you?
No. I did the first year. I rode for Sam Finley. It was
what a fella!
Oh, you know Sam Finley?
Yeah.
Some boy.
He's got the garages at the bottom of the Ulster. The whole family are fantastic.
That's it. Well, I lived with them for a year.
Never.
Yeah, I met him.
Did he have hair then?
No,
I'm joking.
Bald as a coot. Yeah. Yeah. Edna, his missus. Scott and Danielle.
Danielle.
Yeah. Bloody hell.
They're the most hospitable family. Because at the Ulster they get everyone down and feed you and everything like that. They're unbelievable.
Yeah,
family.
I lived with them for a year, and then
Jesus.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I met him because I'd gone and raced Kells, and no one really liked me because I'd knocked Milky Quail off. But I got talking to Sam right there, and I thought, all right, yeah, just nodded to him, and then somehow me and Jim Andrews, like the went over us and his brothers, and we ended up, and Ivan Linton, I don't know if you know Ivan.
Yeah.
Right, we ended up going to bloody Mete to watch the supermoto race, and we ended up meeting Sam Finley there, right?
I've just done that.
Have you?
I have. Have you done it?
No, never done
Do
it.
it.
We went.
Do it.
I'm shit.
No.
I'm shit.
Doesn't matter if you're shit, does it? You're a man of the bucket list. You've got to, mate. That was the first time I've been on a supermoto bike,
Go on.
and that's the first supermoto event I've ever done. Mint. Mate,
Honestly.
like, you know, it's one of those things that you just think, I need, like, if I had the money, I would buy a supermoto bike in a heartbeat. It was
Honestly.
Turn 1, fuel station.
Yeah,
The pumps are still live, they're smoking cigarettes and drinking beer, and you're literally, like, mate, I was that far off some bloke's face. And then you go in the back section, full big dirt jumps, the people, like...
Is that right?
Oh, the people are unbelievable. It's like in the 70s. I wasn't even around the 70s, and that's what the 70s would have been like. Proper people having the crack. The paddock's mint. You could walk your dog. You could do this. You could do that.
Right?
You've put that on your list.
Okay, right,
you
noted.
have to go do Mete.
Noted. But like all of my brain space at the minute is dedicated to.
Well, you'll piss that, and then after that, do Mete.
I know. So yeah, met him at Mete, and then somehow I ended up moving over and racing for him for a year. But I took my bikes and raced one of his bikes, and he was sort of his team, but Liam Quinn as well, who was like a proper top, not top, but it was like a big. He owned Team Air, was like a big air company. Supply compressors and all that in and around Belfast, all in and Northern. And he died. He got into big into car racing. Real well-to-do bloke. He got into car racing.
Yeah, no, they sponsored the Ulster a couple of years back.
Team Air,
big firm, big firm, massive
So
compressors.
it was sort of his. Yeah, between Sam Finley and Liam Quinn, I thought it was sort of their team, and I rode for them, and I worked for Sam's building company at Monterey, which was the old DeLorean factory, and I worked in there for a year. Yeah, just on doing groundwork stuff. Like have you ever seen the Netflix John DeLorean? About the whole story, some story that boy, some story. You know the DeLorean car?
I don't know.
No, Jesus Christ!
Back to the Future.
No, I need a piss. You don't know the... Get a look at your phone.
Stop, pause.
Hang on, I'm going to go for a piss. You don't know the DeLorean car?
The Back to the
Jesus
Future,
Christ,
Marty,
I'm off for a piss. Have a word with your phone. You don't know? Jesus Christ, I'm off for a piss.
The doors are open vertically. Right, we're going to... Right. Okay, right. He's going.
Click, buy, deliver. With remote purchasing from the two-time Motorcycle News Dealer of the Year, Colchester Kawasaki. Proud sponsors of Chasing the Racing.
Right, we're back from a quick whiz stop.
And everyone will be thankful to hear you now know what a DeLorean looks like.
Never seen Back to the Future, my word.
Nope.
Job to do.
That's on your list, son. That is on your list. It'll rock your world, I'm telling you, straight up the fact. So yeah, where were we? Irish
Roads. Irish Roads. So Sam Finley, Liam Quinn, lived with the family for a year. They were mint.
Quick question. Out of all of the races that you did in the Irish Roads, what was the one best race that you had, most enjoyable? When I've just said that, is the one race that springs to mind where you think, oh, that was me?
Yeah, probably. The best race, like Monaghan. Can't remember the year.
Is that a track?
Yeah, Monaghan, yeah.
Never heard of it.
Hardcore, yeah. Monaghan, hardcore.
Is it?
Hardcore.
Have you raced there?
Nah.
I've never heard of it. Is it like a proper footpath race?
Yeah, go track. I remember it was quite famous. Well, not infamous, I suppose is the word. In it did three boys where Gary Dines. I can't remember. There's three other lads got killed. Two other lads. Sorry, there's three lads killed in one crash, one year. Hardcore. What a track. What a track. But yeah, my superbike had broke down, so I rode my 600 in the superbike race, and I think I finished third.
Jesus.
Yeah,
did you have a few sketchy moments over there?
It's just hardcore, boy. Just the whole thing, the whole event, the whole everything around it was I just loved it. I just loved that. If you fuck it up, you're dead. That's what I love. I love that sort of thing.
Got a buzz from it.
Yeah, massive. But that's why I was.
Do you know of taking like all the motorsport stuff to one side?
I know what you mean.
Would you describe yourself as an adrenaline junkie?
No, that's just one of them wanky terms. Isn't it?
Well, if you said like if you make a
mistake,
mistake,
not use that word in Grimsby, boy.
If you make a mistake, you're dead and getting a buzz from it. Like nothing to do with engines. Like, do you just like dangerous stuff?
Yeah, I fucking love it. Man.
Have you ever done
sort of you've got to be sort of you've got to be sort of, you've got to be like,
Do you know?
You're pushing yourself, aren't you? Because if you get it, you just push yourself to that limit, and then if you just step out of line, there's big consequences.
Do you know
and that's
stuff-
the buzz of pushing it to that limit.
Do you know stuff
yes.
like that base jumping and the wingsuits and stuff? Has that ever tickled your fancy?
yeah, I suppose. But I've been skydiving, and not skydiving, parachuting, just parachuting, that's static line stuff.
So I was supposed to do my. I've just signed up and paid for my accelerated freefall course.
Right.
So I've never done a tandem or a parachute or anything, but the AFF, you do 1 day's training and then you jump solo 15,000 feet.
Shit.
And so
no training.
A full day training.
Yeah, but no previous jumps.
No previous jumps, but you first. It's very well. It's very well.
It's like a one-to-one tuition like system.
And the first 3 jumps, you jump with 2 instructors next to you, which they get your body positioning perfect and stuff. And then basically you've got an altimeter on your left-hand side here. Jump at 15,000 feet. You do your checks and everything. 6,000 feet, you pull your chute, and if everything goes right, it's just a case of taking control, steering it, and then you've obviously got to be a bit careful with. You've got like holding areas depending on where the wind is, so you've got to be in a certain area for at 1,000 feet, and then you go with the wind until you get a 500 feet turn. And then,
so you know this before you even get there, then?
No, just from the day's training. I've already done my training.
Oh, sorry. You don't do the training and go and do it straight away. Right,
no, it was too windy, so you should. I did my training on like a Thursday, passed the exam on the night, and then I was ready to jump Friday morning. And then the last thing, you turn into the wind, and then just before you hit the ground, you flare up. But so you do your first
3,000 feet.
You do 4.5 kilometers up. You jump out, you accelerate to 120 mile an hour in 12 seconds, and then you have about 45 seconds of flying at 120 mile an hour, and then pull your chute.
Right.
If there's a problem, you've got a toggle here and a reserve.
Yeah.
So like they tell you all the sort of malfunctions to look out for, but if you have what's called a malfunction, you look up and things aren't right, you just grab these 2 handles, pull the red toggle and pull the handle. It releases your main canopy and releases your reserve. You've also got a thing called an ADD, which is an automatic deployment device. So if you jumped out, and you just blacked out and did nothing, when you get to 1,500 feet, it would know that you're traveling too fast towards ground and you still haven't deployed.
So you've 3.
And it automatically deploys. Yeah, so it's
3 forms of.
It's not dangerous, but you would still get a good buzz from it.
Yeah.
Well, no, the mad thing is, you used to have to do your secondary part of the test. You had to do a cutaway. Back in the day, the course originally started in California.
Have you done this?
Yeah, I only do a level 8. I got to a level 6 and ran out of money. Shit. I've done 6 solo jumps.
Have you?
So but then
free fall,
flips. Yeah, free fall. 15,000 feet. I got to 17,000 above the cloud line.
So but each level, so you have each level, they give you something to do. So like say your 7th jump, you have to like jump out backwards, and do you know, no matter what orientation you are, so like say if you jumped out as a pencil dived or jumped out back flipping, as long as you take this position, which is called an arch position, your body naturally levels out to a stable position.
Right.
And
going down face first.
You could jump out whichever way, and as long as you get into this arch position, your body naturally levels out.
Okay.
And then that's when you can like sort of steer, and you do all your levels. But once you pass, I think it's like level 8 or something, you can just turn up at the airfield, and for like 50 quid, you can jump up and just jump by yourself. So that's what I'm hoping to.
They're big on it down here, Ibblestone.
Right, okay. I just think it would be a good hobby to have, wouldn't it? Like, say, if now and again.
If he lands in your yard one day, you know he's passed the course. I missed the landing, guy. Sorry, mate.
This is a good one. So, when I went on Friday to do my first jump, there was a lady there that was waiting to do her second jump, and so when you jump out of the plane, there's a guy on the landing area who's got a list of all the canopies, like so each person's got a different color canopy and the names. So like for example, he would have like Guy blue, so as you're coming down, he can radio through to you. You've got a radio. Shit. And he can radio through and say, oh, you need to be like a little bit more towards the wind or turn left or whatever. Anyway, this girl called Cammy had jumped out, first ever jump, so she'd waved our instructors off, she'd pulled her canopy and just miles up, so you can like hardly see the area you want to be at, and she gets radioed through to turn left, so she turns left and a bit confused, and the guy kept radioing through, telling her where to turn. And anyway, as she was coming down to land, she was miles away from the airfield. The bloke had got the colours and the names mixed up.
Is that right?
So she landed in this cow's field miles away. Yeah, bless her. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting stuck in. I've never done anything like it before, but just that, the
buzz. The buzz.
Yeah, I'll let you know how it goes. You might be interested.
Or not.
How long? Yeah. But you're well covered there, aren't you? You're well covered.
Oh yeah.
How much free fall are you going to have there time wise?
So free fall's a minute.
It's right as long as that.
Yeah, 1 minute.
Shit. So that's from 15,000 to what?
6,000.
No, but then you get lower throughout the course. So you actually can deploy lower and lower for
as part of your training, they do a thing called
4,000. I got to 4,000.
I think it was a jump and like a rock and roll. Basically, as part of your training, you have to practice an emergency exit. So as the plane's going up, it gets to like 5,000, and they go exit, exit, exit. And you've got to jump and literally just pull straight away, and like you've got no time. But you usually fly down for a minute and then pull, and you've got like about 4 or
5,000. You're going emergency exit of the plane, go out, pull your shoe
straight away. Yeah, that'd be a good buzz.
To be fair, I can imagine base jumping being more of a buzz. Because obviously it takes so much time for a natural chute to fully deploy. You think air pressure and everything. You think base jump. The buzz of that is essentially road racing and parachuting. You are getting as low to the ground as you can.
Do you know that
before you can deploy?
Do you know them wingsuits? Have you seen them where there's a thing where there's like a rock sort of like a cave in the rocks,
and they're flying through
and they come down and fly through. That sounds like it's up your street.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you, without sounding seeded here, but is there anything that you wouldn't do, kind of thing? Is there anything that you look at and go, you would never catch me doing that as long as I live?
No, not really. If I'm in control, you're not like. I've been doing like I do with the TV stuff, like the fucking health and safety with everything. I say, look, I have been doing stupid things for a long time, and I'm still here, so I'm doing something right. Leave it with me. I'll sort it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
as long as I'll do whatever. But as long as I you can go through it, take a pragmatic approach to it, and you can see, right, this you go through this process to achieve this goal, and that's what.
Out of all the things you've done for the TV, what's been like the proudest thing you've done, or the best?
I don't know if I say a proudest thing, because they're all sort of things done, and there's not really, we're not.
Coolest thing.
The fucking I pedal that push bike behind a truck, 112.94 miles an hour.
That was something.
Yeah, but it's not on that fast. But fucking hell, man, I genuinely thought I was going to pull the muscles off the back of my legs. I was pedaling that hard to keep up with that truck, right? And then just the wheels, I just thought, yeah. Because that the day there wasn't even, there was the morning, right? Because obviously, like the TV wanted to do loads of shots at different angles, to do loads of build-ups to get right. Maybe half a dozen runs. Right, this is going to be the one, and we'll get the cameras in the right place. We'll have the helicopter in the right place and do it all. And we did one practice run. And I said, "Fuck that, boys." I said, "We're doing one run and that's it. No more."
Did you have to be so close to?
Yeah. But the problem was, if I was dropping off, right, so I would be pedaling like to try and get back on the back of the truck, and he would see that I'm dropping off. Dave was driving the truck. He'd see I was dropping, so he'd back off. But then we've got our approaching speed, so I would then hit the back of the truck and bounce off. And it's just because we'd gone. It was like a wet beach. It was a wet beach because you didn't want it, obviously, dry sand. So as soon as the tide had gone out, we was on it. And we did one practice run, and then just the wheels, the little wheelings that the push bike was leaving and the truck was leaving, made such a massive difference in the bike, in how it controls. That's why I said we're doing one run and that is it. We're doing no more. And that's why then they had no choice but to do. We had one go. Shit or bust.
I've got a
question. So that's how I had to deal with it like that, because I'm a very. If we'd have done it how they wanted to do it with like half a dozen different runs, it was going to end in tears. So I just like with that, and as long as I'm in control,
the numbers game.
Yeah, I'm in control. This is how we do it. Go on.
What's been your biggest disappointment in telly, kind of thing? Because in my humble opinion, I'm very sorry about this. The programme was brilliant.
Go on.
Great Escape, Steve McQueen, the history behind it, everything. Yeah. My biggest upset with that programme is they told you that fence was fake. You know the fake, and I'm like, why did they tell everyone it was fake? I'm just saying, you're watching it going, he's fucking, and it was all a bit, Guy Martin's going to jump this fence, and it was just like, yeah, it's me. Nan could ride through that, and I'm like, I was watching it, screaming at the telly guy. I'm like,
it was mint. The boys that made that fence,
no,
they made a mint job.
It
looked bang on. It was fake. Or you don't think the public needed to know that it was a fake fence? Is that right?
Don't get me wrong. They could have put it after the fact. When they're like, oh, look, this is what we had.
Right, that's good that they hear that. No, that's good. For
me personally, you're watching it going. part of me wants them to fuck this up a little bit. You know what I mean? Just for the entertainment value as a British person, an underdog. But I'm watching it going. You know what I mean? He's done all his training in his background. He can ride a motocross bike and have a go at.
Yeah, there was no to go wrong, was there? Really? But I tell you what, I had some buzz on that though. I had some buzz because we'd done the day before that. I took my motocross bike. I drove over in van. I took my motocross bike over, and I'd done like a couple of practice runs, and I couldn't do it on a motocross bike. I was landing like a sack of shit.
You were doing the angles in, weren't you?
Yeah, fucking proper. And I just said, fucking hell. And I all we said was, right, because they wanted me to practice to get all the camera shots right and do all this, and then use the Triumph for the last one. And then I said, look, fuck that, boys. We're doing it once, right? Shit or bust. So that was the same sort of thing. And they listened to me. Well, they didn't really have a lot of choice. Because, I was just landing like a sack of shit on that motocross bike. And we did it on the Triumph, and it was all right. It was all right, and we cleared it. We just cleared over the top. Just got over the top.
Because, like you say, the program was brilliant. You know, the history, behind it.
I did a load of learning with that.
That was a fantastic. But that one little bit boiled.
We didn't need to know.
Because Steve McQueen, because he got a stunt rider and the insurance side of it. But you could just imagine Steve McQueen just going in after dark, going, fuck it, come on.
They reckon he did do it. They did do it. They reckon he did do it.
He did.
They reckon.
Right.
Who was they? I don't know. But yeah, they reckon he did it. They reckon he did it. So, Bud Aikins, he was the boy that did the jump in the movie.
Yeah,
in the Great Escape.
What a joke! Like, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
isn't it?
But that was all right. Me doing it on like that fucking new Triumph, right? Without 100mm suspension travel. They did it on a bloody old hardtail Triumph. That's men. I was only playing that.
That's it.
I was only playing. That's it. You've got it. That's it.
Don't even show yourself at the pub if you can't make that jump.
You've got it.
Do you know, with the whole TV stuff, is there like a team of people that come to you and say, right, we've been having to think, these are the like possible options, or is it you saying this is what I want to do and they sort of work around? Or is it a bit of...
No. To be honest, the only one I think it was my idea was Pikes Peak.
Right.
I think that was the only one that was my idea.
So they come to you with them and then you're like, yeah, let's do it type thing.
Yeah, because I don't need to, I'm always in that position. I don't need to do it. It's not my job.
Yeah.
Like I do... Like this year, I've done a fair bit this year. I've done like 60 days this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't. If they come up with a good idea, let's have a go. It's great. Sounds great. But yeah, I don't need to do it. So it's got to be interesting ideas, and I don't know if we're running out of ideas or not, unless someone can come up with some decent ideas.
I'll get me a pen and paper. I'll get some ideas. So don't you worry, son. But I tell you,
go on. Like what?
Oh God, give me a pen and paper. I need a glass of wine. I need some inspiration. Sit me there with the dog. We'll just come up with the Guy Martin. Don't you? I'll get you a list.
I tell you, I'm sure there's something that
what an opportunity. What position to be in to just like come up with these daft ideas. Right, we'll have a go at that.
I know you
have you backflipped a motorcycle yet?
No. Yes.
I have.
What have you?
I have. Pit bike. My mate's pit bike. Yeah, and I obliterated me mate's pit bike. Little Hayden stat. Fuck me, that little lad can ride a motocross bike. He's unreal. And I broke his heart when I broke his pit bike. It's a long story anyway. We're diverse, but I have done a backflip.
Into a foam pit?
No, dirt.
Shit.
No, dirt. Straight up.
Oh, no, I've done one in a foam pit, but there was a...
Shite bag.
Holy
dirt.
shite.
We went up in the middle.
All day.
Surrounded. All day. I went, I'm one of those
So you did it once?
Oh, once I battered myself
Did you
to
ever
live in hell.
No, that's not.
He's got a future to think of, guy. He's got a future to think of.
There was lots of them flips that the bike. Obviously, you go quite high in the air, and the bikes were just coming straight down.
He was getting the energy
on
to
his legs.
Keep on.
And I'm just thinking, like,
you saw enough.
Yeah, one of those would like could easily snap my leg, and I would just think, no. And I'm all for having a go at stuff, but you know, I think of everything as like a cost reward sort of rate. I'm not going to get anything out of that, and potentially I could screw.
See, this goes back
someone's backyard.
Like mid-season. This was like mid racing season.
Beginning of the season, you know, we just went, look, I'm one of those people. When I say I'm going to do something, guy, I say I do it. I stood there. This is the problem. He doesn't drink at the pub, and when you're in the pub, the tongue start getting loose. I'm going to backflip. No, you won't. Shut you up. Nah, this is happening like that. Woke up the next day, gone, I better do this backflip then. Got a mini digger, like bunch of gangsters in the field in Anfield playing, took a jump, just got it steeper and steeper.
I know.
You did it? But you knackered the bike?
Oh, it bent the bars and all sorts. Got it done.
But you did get it.
Yeah, damn right.
Fair play.
I know. So
fair play,
Guy Martin's backflip. There we are.
It could be.
Yeah,
that's the next.
I'm 40-year-old now.
So my dad 62 had a pin removed to go racing. Don't give me the age crack, son.
Yeah.
We did mention this earlier about.
That's an idea, boy.
Do you know your new track down in Colchester at Thor's Way? It's Shaz's little project. Yeah,
Shaz's track.
And I've seen a few good videos. We're mates with Billy. Billy's been on the podcast a few times. Them boys can ride mine, can't they? Tommy and Billy.
Billy Bolt on the bike.
Jay.
Billy doesn't like me. He likes him.
Is that right?
No.
What a boy! What? Yeah, like Shazza. To be honest, like, I bought the place, wanted to get it going because it was like a legendary motocross track. It was just like it was always leased out to different people. And it was anyway, I got a chance to buy it, bought it, and I said, yeah, so let's see what we can do with it. So I just give it a Shazza, and then the last she got in, like
Johnny and Alfie.
Johnny and Alfie.
I'll help you out there.
Yeah, Johnny and Alfie. Yeah. Alfie Smith, Johnny Douglas Hamilton, proper doers. Like, I don't know if he's the boss, like the best track builders in the country. Definitely in the country, if not the world.
I was there. Do you know when I think you lent Matt your bike for Christian Stag Do?
Yes,
so I was there
Stag Do up there.
And
did you go up there?
Yeah.
Did you ride?
Well, you could say that, but not really.
Right.
We've got to put that in. Congratulations for getting you're going to the wedding, aren't you? After this,
yes, yeah. So by the time this podcast goes out, it'll be like last week. But
right.
Yeah, congratulations.
Congratulations. There the wedding goes to the plan.
Yeah,
fair play.
But yeah, to see the change from where it was, what was that, like a month or 2 months ago, to see where it is now.
Yeah,
you have done a hell of a job.
Hey boy, that's all my Mrs. Shazza. So I met her at a moped race in Dublin, but she was sort of part of the Skerries organising. That's how I got to meet her.
Right.
Yeah, Scary. You're not Scary. You've done Skerries.
No, I haven't. It's on my
done
list.
Skerries?
No,
You done Killer Lane?
No, I want these are on my lists. These are on my list.
I don't think we spoke about Monaghan.
Cookstown, Armoy.
Yeah, well,
I've done. They're the northern stuff.
Yeah, but they're great. They're great.
Oh, but I tell you what, before I forget, we're talking about motocross. I need to borrow your field to do that. That's on my bucket list now. I want that photo. I want to replicate
that. Well, them
that
boys.
photo.
That's how those boys.
I'll
right, Jake Nichols. There's another lad from up your way who was a Honda rider.
Jay Haig.
Yeah.
Oh, they can ride.
Billy Bolts.
And Tommy Searle,
legends, all them boys are legends, especially like Tommy Searle and Billy Bolt. Yeah, did he win the championship?
Tommy did this year. Yeah,
he did. Yeah.
No, Tommy Searle. But what about Billy Bolt? I thought
he won the Germany round, the last one that was out.
So does that mean he's won the title then?
I'm not sure actually. We'll have to double check on that.
Not too hot.
I'll get him back.
But because obviously they could see when we turned up. Like, it's all Shazza. Like, she just asked me, right? Can you spend this? Can you spend this? You know what I mean? But the doll, what do you want to do?
Happy wife, happy life.
You've got it. But she's just
you married the right woman if she's putting her money in the motocross tracks. Let's just say that. Putting that out there now.
And she's done some amount of organising to get that where it is now, right? But then obviously we're in a position now. I asked them lads, and they're all going to talk shit out there at the time there because I can see the amount of time and effort that everyone's put in, right? I said, go on, be honest, what do you think? And I said, best track in the country. And I thought, they're always going to say that, won't they? So I took him to the side at the end and I said that to Billy Bolt, I said, go on, what would you change? And he says, the only thing he would change is you've got to soften it off. Like the start tabletop. And that's why like Johnny and Alfie that built the track, I rode it, right? I'm a waste of time. But I couldn't, like, never say never, right? But how... the vision that those boys have got, that you can get from that point to that point, but to get to there you've got to whip it through the air and scrub it over. Have you seen blows my mind?
Have you seen what Bill does with the indoor stuff? The
extreme enduro stuff.
Extreme enduro, yeah. Have you seen? And
I've seen some of the stuff.
They can see like sort of like a load of logs. And to have the vision to know, like, to do it at that speed, you're just going to clear that. But like and it's like literally perfect.
But that motocross job, the way that those boys have built the track to do that blew my mind. And then it was a comment that Billy Bolt said. I said, good. I took him to the side. I said, good one, what do you say? And he said, look, you just got to soften that down. He says, because if you let knobbers go there like me, that's going to end up in tears. So that's so now that the track is, we're not softening it at all. That is how the track is, right? And if that means that it's the best track in the country, then that's great. But we're only letting top stuff happen there.
Yeah.
So,
mint.
But then they're all chomping at Shazza's door. Yeah, chopping at her door. Wanting to run meetings there. But then we're thinking, if we've got the great track, and do we just run our own thing, run like a standalone event?
But you can do when it's
that's up to Shazza, really.
Of course it is. Yeah.
But yeah, it's great that we've got that. What an asset to have there, and if we can,
Here's a daft question for you. So
go on,
like. When I look at like Billy Bolton, the motocross, like I grew up, Jeremy McGrath was my racing hero. You know what I mean? Motocross.
You're 29.
29, yeah.
You're 26.
Yeah.
Right, 29, 26. Yeah. Go on.
But Jeremy McGrath and like David Villeman, and we're talking like Ricky Carmichael. I grew up watching motocross, and I just thought these boys are absolutely like the cream. I'd be like, if I met Jeremy McGrath, I'd be totally starstruck.
Yes.
Yeah, who would you get starstruck by? Or would you at all? If you... Who was...
I met Andy Cow, who I sold me mailing to. Yeah, like when I grew up, like my heroes were like Tony Scott and Chris Mayo. like just the engine builders, just the visions they had of ways working around rules and getting more power out of stuff. It just blew my mind. Yeah, and then I met like Steve Mello when I rode for like Amy Amara. Just I was like in awe all the time. Just the legends, just legends. Just like, so there was never really a rider in where like John Britton. I'm not mad at John Britton.
How do you find being on the other side? Like, because of like who you are, there'll be people that like say if they see you at a racetrack or whatever, and they'll just fall to bits. You'll know what it's like to, like your heroes or whatever. How do you find being on the other side and sort of like, do you find it awkward that people feel like that around you?
I do, because I'm a dickhead.
Well, no, I think
I was in my tractor last night, just ploughing just the headlands up there, and then a bloke come down in his car, and he'd brought his missus from Worcester, and he was a real nice bloke, and I let him have a couple of runs in the tractor. I said, we just come down, and just and I knew you lived down here, and all right, just having an out with him, and he was sort of a bit, and I was sort of like a bit starstruck. I'm like, well, mate, I'm a dickhead. I'm in my office, I'm just driving my tractor. There's nothing to get excited about. I'm just a dickhead. I know I am. I'm not. I'm not trying to. I don't think I'm.
I bet it was
because it's just different. Like, I could go on about this. I mean, you could get into the George Orwell 1984 thing and all that, and just think, right? Just what do you want? What do you want? I've fucking the TV's given me some amazing opportunities, hasn't it? Like some of the stuff. I'm not dismissing any of that, right? But the reason for doing all of these great things was because there were great things to do, right?
Yeah.
The goal at that wasn't to be famous, right? But I can just see. Like, I'm not a big telly watcher. I don't have a Facebook. I don't do any Twitter. I don't do any of that. But the main reason for all of those things is for notoriety and to get sort of famous, and they'll do whatever it takes to get to that point, and that point is famous, and they'll do whatever it is. So if it means being enthusiastic about a vegetable lasagna or enthusiastic about engineering or whatever it is, they'll do whatever it is. But I don't want that. I don't want to be famous. But I've had to do all these amazing things. But the problem is I've ended up there, and I don't really want to be there.
It's almost like a side.
It is, and I don't like. And it's great because I met a bloke in my tractor. What's the chance of that? He's just drove down here at the time I was on the headland, just doing and I just got narrowing to, and it was great. What a great thing! But I don't want to be famous.
I bet you found it. Do you know after that film they did close?
Yeah, the Close to the Edge. Yeah, 2010.
At the TT after that, I bet you found it difficult with because there's so many fans in a closed environment, and like I bet you get like wherever you go, you get absolutely pounded.
You do. You can't get away from it.
Do you just
get away from it? But then really, that's where I come to the conclusion doing the Tour de I should have packed in. I should have packed in more or less straight after that, really, because I wasn't enjoying it.
Was that the point?
I rode for Taz. I rode for Taz the year after that, right? Which was mint. And like Stuart Johnson was there, and Matt McCarver was there, and like Philip Neal, Hector Neal. Hector Neal he never really spoke to me after I went to the Honda thing. He fell out with me because of the Honda thing. I went because I packed in racing. You see, 15. I packed in racing, and then I ended up going back to race for Honda, but only because Neil took. I know Neil took. He said. New Fireblade, he said, I'll let you ride the Honda 6. So really, the whole goal was to ride the Honda 6. That was the only reason. But the bike was...
He knew he was talking to
the only reason.
The Honda 6.
I know. But I have no regrets because I managed to walk away, unlike McGuinness. McGuinness had problems with the bike. I didn't really have problems with the bike. I never got on with it. And I know it chucked me off, but that was just through a normal... That was a gearbox issue. That wasn't through anything to do with the design of the bike.
In the May. Where I come out of Alacrane, my God, you come round, you're beautiful fast, turn, you come down, you hook a gear out.
Burn the wall, boy.
Yeah, I couldn't. Mate, I saw.
That's what got me away from that.
I saw.
Was you in that race?
I was. I saw both skid marks. The one in your levers and the one going up the curbs. And I was like, oh, Jesus.
I know.
I saw it.
I walked away from that, and when I walked away, boy, I said, "That is it. I am finished." I should have packed in when I said the year before, but I still got to ride the Honda 6, so it was me. But this is. Do you know about the Honda 6? You know,
just from your book.
You haven't seen a Honda 6?
I've heard one started up.
Oh, thank God! Right, you ticked off the list.
Like, you're a classic man. You're into it. Yeah,
they are. But I tell you what,
man into it.
Is that what John Chapman got one of them?
No, he wants one.
No, I think he's got. No, he's put a deposit on one.
He's actually got. All right.
Yeah, the last time I spoke to him, he's got one. He's got one coming.
I'm gonna have to give him a ring
because there is another one built. There was only ever like 6, and it turns out there's about 11 now because boys have just commissioned the build. Yeah. But he's got one of the replicas.
It's like Guy Martin Fireblade replicas. That was Guy's bike. That's Guy's bike. There must be 1,000 of those Guy Fireblades kicking around the place.
Bloody hell.
Oh, what was I gonna say?
Bloody hell.
Sorry, when you came back from that crash. When you went to the TT that year, you were banging around like 130 from the close to the edge to any 10.
Yeah.
So when you came back for Philip Neal. But you see, you went 133. You did a 33 or 32. I think it was a 33.
Around the TT?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's 30. No, but you see, that's...
But I went quicker afterwards.
Jesus, no, but that's the thing. You went from like Ballagary on the Fireblade, the Wilson Craig Honda, you were like 130, 131s, and that was the year when it was... The thing is, that's the beauty about the Isle of Man, is there's a pace, and that is the pace of the year, and everyone's pushing on that pace.
The track sort of dictates what the speed is. And obviously what those boys done now is another level, innit? But they've had great... Well, you know, way faster than
But see, this is the thing, though, but the mad thing is, you went from like that, and then you came back and did a 30. It's like, go on, Jackie, lad. It was just like...
Yeah, but I could deal with that crash. I could deal with that crash, no problem at all. Because I just take a very mechanical approach to it. I knew why I crashed, right? So I could deal with it. It's not like anything's happened out of my control. And if it was something out of my control, I'd have been, okay, now. I was pushing on, and I was battling for the lead, right? I just had a tank of fuel, right? Extra load on the front tyre, lost the front, and I thought I had it. And I hung on to it right around the corner. And then I had to jump ship right at the 11th hour. But at that time, my trajectory was more or less just a glance off the wall. So I was all right. I just broke it. It wasn't that bad. I was all right.
I have been round that corner.
She's fast, boy, isn't she? She's fast. But what my optimism is what saved my neck round there. Because I thought, you must have these every day, like where you lose the front end. Like, you boys, they save them all the time, don't they? But I had one of those, and I thought, I've got it. I ain't got it. But by the time I realised I hadn't got it, I was more or less around the corner. So I just jumped ship, Jumped ship.
I tell you,
Do you know, you've had a few goes on the Mugen electric stuff, and also with the TV job, you've been doing quite a bit. I've seen that electric Beetle and whatever. Obviously the whole industry's going electric.
Yeah, it is.
A fan of it? Not fan? Like, what's your thoughts?
You can't knock it till you tried it. We've got an electric car. We've done like 20,000 mile in that electric car this year in 1 year. Yeah, a little Honda.
What's the range on that?
It's a shit range, but it does like, at the very best, it does like 4.2 miles per kilowatt hour. If you know what your numbers are. Do you know your numbers? 4.2 miles.
He's a maths teacher, you should know.
Like kilowatt hours is like, what's a kilowatt hour? Like 20p now or something. 20p per, so you're doing like
20p an hour?
20p per kilowatt hour.
All right, I thought you said 20p an hour. I'm buying one. If it is 20 pence an hour of driving.
The range is shite on it. The range is shite. It does like 120 mile at the very best.
Good for popping.
Well, you can't lie. It does 20,000 mile in a year, and that's miles that would have been done in a diesel car. So, yes.
Have you got an electric van yet?
No, because that's not realistic. I've just done, what did I do last week? I did like 4,500 miles last week. I went to Italy, went to Sweden, right? That's never going to be a realistic option for something carrying any weight, because there's such a penalty to pay for the batteries. For the batteries, and so the only way that's going to be realistic. And the drum, well, I'll tell you. You come down the M180, didn't you? You see all the speed cameras down there. They close the lane off. That's going to be the first electric motorway in the country. 2024, I think that's going to be up and running.
Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, electric motorway. Yeah, overhead lines. Yeah, so
that's big.
But Scania are prototyping trucks through sort of the firm I work for, sort of.
Right.
And that's sort of dual fuel in a way. They're going to run on electric lines during the length of the M180, which is like it's a long flat motorway from Immingham, which is like the biggest. I don't know, it's the biggest docks in the country. Immingham docks. A load of stuff comes off Immingham down to the end of the M180.
They've got a similar thing like that in the past. It's called electric trains.
Yeah, they do. Same sort of thing. Overhead lines, it's that same sort of thing. But obviously, when they get to the end of that, what they're going to do? So then they have a diesel engine, they strike it up, and away you go.
But only for a short amount of time. So the majority of the journey's done electric.
Yes.
Have you seen Tesla have got the lorries? They've got big electric lorries. The one about doing, they were talking about electric planes as well. But what they were...
It's not realistic. Yes, it is for short haul flights.
Well, what they were saying is if they can get high enough, there's the air's so thin that they don't actually need much power once they get high,
essentially glide.
But then it's a case of like how do you get speed when there's hardly any air up there? So how do you propel yourself?
Yes,
but if they can get up there, you wouldn't need much power to travel at a very high speed. Okay. But it would be if you could get up like almost to the edge of space and travel fast. Okay. But you'd maybe need combustion. Well, then the combustion engine wouldn't work that high. So
this is the most intellectual chat we've ever had on this show.
Rocket would really obviously like rockets the self. No. I said like Bob Lazar.
You what? Sorry?
Bob Lazar, Area 51.
No.
Oh fucking hell, man.
What is it?
Area 51, like Roswell and all that.
Wait, Area 50.
No
Like
idea.
It's like where the Americans kept
Vegas.
aliens and fake moon landing.
That's where they found this element 115, like Muscovy. It's on the like the what's the scale called? What's the
Is this real or conspiracy?
No, this is real. It's calling Muscovy element 115.
They made a Facebook.
Like it contradicts all physics, and it's just an amazing story. You need to look at Bobbler's
Yeah,
Look at Bobbler's It's just it's an amazing story. It's an amazing story. But yeah, and he discovered that they've got the UFOs there, and that's what powered these UFOs, which is element 115, and it's just like Moscovian. And they've actually found it, and it works, and it contradicts all forms of physics, so it can do anything. And it can just, just you need to look into it. It blew my mind. That's why I sat in tractors listening to podcasts. That's all I know about all that. Blew my mind. Blew my mind. I think for short haul flight, yes, electric planes.
Could be.
Yeah. But other than that, it's the same sort of thing as what we're going to have to do with the truck world. The trucks are never going to work electric because it's such a penalty to pay for
24-ton of haulage.
Yeah, but I would say the roads got a 44-ton gross weight now with the trucks, and the roads are suffering. You see how the roads suffer around here, right? So they can't subsidise. The truck needs to be running like 30-ton. You need to have 30 ton of payload for it to be profitable to run about. So if half your payload's taken up with battery space, and then you're trying to charge it up, and the cost of electricity, like that we've got electric car. It's not. Yes, it's cheaper to run than electric, but it's not. It's not like it might be like half the price to run, because we're paying like 20p per kilowatt hour. We've had to probably like for done 20,000 miles, I've probably had to put like 1,500 quid's worth of electric through the car. It's they'd have you believe, it's not for nothing. No. Electric is expensive. I can talk to that. So the long term for trucks, I think, is still internal combustion. Is using hydrogen in internal combustion, right? So that's how that's going to go forward. So you haven't got the weight penalty to pay, but then it's how much energy does it take to get the hydrogen out of the water, to do all that. It's the energy. It's still costing energy in the carbon impact to pay for getting that energy to get that hydrogen out of the water. It's still the only thing that's going to stop that's going to sort all of this is, from my point of view, is nuclear fusion. And they're still 50 years away. Yeah. That's what they say. They said that 50 years ago. So they said 50 years ago that it was 50 years away, and now they're still saying it's 50 years ago. Like the Large Hadron Collider.
Do you know in terms of it's certain? I was supposed to go there.
Is that right? You had the option to go there.
Yeah, when I was racing that weekend, but when I was doing physics at school, my whole class went there for a school trip. Do you know about the Hadron Collider in CERN?
That's 16 kilometres. 28 kilometres underground.
Underground, and then they make it's with magnet. So basically, there was loads of theories about how the atom was formed. So they actually made and tested it.
Yeah. Black hole. It was like miniature. Yeah.
So the fire them
Higgs
both.
boson. That was at that sort of stage.
Yeah. So the fire them, but basically into each other, they get to something like it's like almost the speed of light, but it's like 99.999% of the speed of light, and fire it round, and then they smash them up, and then they can see exactly how the atoms form. But it's like,
you know more than me. I just know that the only few is when we can. Obviously, they'll get all this nuclear now is splitting the atom, nuclear fusion, right? And you get all this energy to heat water, to create steam, to turn a turbine, to create electricity, right? But the amount of waste products you get off the back of that, look at that Chernobyls and your Fukushimas and all that. But if you can create that same energy with nuclear fusion by colliding the atom, but you don't get the waste products. Well, and that's about as much as I know.
I think they're on the verge of discovering it, but do you know the whole problem is with nuclear waste? But apparently there's like a liquid that they can put the nuclear waste in, and it like sorts itself out. But basically, if they sort out nuclear waste,
I know what it's called. Iron brew. It's made from girders.
But do you know like a tiny
iron brew
bit,
will kill anything. It's fact.
Do you know like in terms of like what you would need for nuclear fusion, like if you filled that can amount, that would be enough to power like a city. The actual like things that you need, do you know, like say nuclear fusion, so that atoms to fire into each other, like that much there would power like a city for years and years and years, and it's totally green. So if they can work it out how to do it,
that's the future.
That's completely.
Well, this is what I think. There'll be no such thing as a national grid. We'll have our own power station underneath the sink, and then your truck will have a power station in it. But then we'll be levitating around the country or something like that. We'll have learnt a lot more between now and then.
That 400 mile an hour Bonneville will be a
piece of no bother.
A quick one on the on the bike racing side of things. Out of all of the, you've raced for loads of teams, loads of team managers. Who's been your favourite team boss and your favourite?
You're making me pick now, aren't you?
Favourite teammate.
Shit. That's a good. I never really thought about it. Team boss. Like, they've all had the pros and cons.
Not one stand
I
out.
was with Sean Muir for years, for like 4 years, 5 years, 4 years.
The Swan
Sean
days.
Muir. No, it was before then. It was like Hydrex.
Oh yeah,
Hydrex.
And then
Yes.
it went to Bike Animal, and then it went to Summers else. I think. I can't really. Did it go back to Hydrex or Summers?
Yeah,
I wrote. He was mint. He was mint because he knows I'm a dick, and I just I still go to work and I turn up covered in shit, and I just like riding the bike. So he put up with that, and then Wilson Craig, I wrote for him. He croaked, didn't he? What?
2
Not long ago. I remember.
No, not long ago. No,
3 years ago. 3 years.
no, it wasn't. Was it?
Before COVID.
It was.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Bloody hell, time
BC.
flies, doesn't it?
BC.
Yeah,
Before COVID.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So but he was mean because he just, I just did sort of things my way. Philip and Hector Neal, like Philip Neal was my sort of main point of contact. He put me with probably the longest. Yeah.
I tell you what, that relentless bike, twin pipe exhaust
Yeah,
on
that
the
was
Gixxer,
mint.
that was the
That was
best
mint.
levers team look.
That was a mint. That was just 1 year, that, and he went title the year
beautiful
after.
bike.
That was my first year with the team, that.
Right, that
Relentless
was
colours.
by far the best looking bike I've seen on the grid.
Yeah, but then I would have like
Teammates.
team. But then when I got to the Honda, like, I know that job went to shit, but I really enjoyed that. Because I got to ride the Honda 6, and like Neil Tuxoff, I still keep in touch with Neil Tuxoff now. But it really, I suppose Neil Tuxoff. But then it was like Johnny Tweltrees was the sort of team manager, but my main point of contact was Neil Tuxoff. But then Harvey ran the Mugen side of things. So like, we're still like she's been using Harvey loads for the motocross track because really I think he's the same as maybe all of them failed motocrosser. He really wants to be a motocrosser, really. So he's been helping Shazza a bit with the motocross job. So they've all got the pros and cons. But who didn't I get? Like Hector Neal really fell out at me when I took the on job because I said I was finished, 2015. And I said, that's me, I'm done. He said, well, anytime you want to ride a bike, he said, just give us a bell. And then I went and rode for Honda. So I was being a bit dickheadish. But I said, I got a chance to ride the Honda 6. You know what I mean?
Surely you would understand.
Surely you'd
That's
understand.
it. If you're listening, you're sorry.
So Hector was the man. But and I understand him not. Because I did say, if I ever ride a bike, it'll be for you. And then I went and rode the Honda. But teammate.
Simon Buckmaster, you didn't get on with him, did you?
No, but I did afterwards.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, just because the bikes were shit.
Yeah.
And we had to build them, like we built them in my dad's shed in the end. It was just shit. He just tried fobbing us off with shit. And I was just thinking it was, but I'm not going to
All
talk.
made up,
I'm not, no, it wasn't that I just,
Who's your favourite teammate then? Come on,
favourite teammate? Bloody hell. But I've never really had a teammate, really.
Somebody you love
other than like William Dunlop. We've been a teammate racing the same races. All right, there was like James Ellison and there was Josh Brooks, Carl Harris. Carl Harris
But they were all superbikes.
Yeah. And like, all right, when I was doing the superbikes, I was only doing that to keep me half handy to do the road stuff.
Oh no, but
I was never really a teammate, was I really?
Someone you worked with, like other rider wise, you've got to. Your eyes lit up when you said Carl Harris.
Harris. Jesus Christ. Well, I ended up meeting Steve Peat through Carl Harris. Like, it was an hero.
The Steve Peat.
I ended up, Carl, we're off round for a barbecue one night. Well, he come round. I'm like, fucking hell, yeah. So I ended up going, Steve Peat.
Steve Peat, downhill rider.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Massive man. I don't know.
He was huge.
Was he he'd be the UK's most famous mountain biker,
Gotta be.
Wouldn't he? The world, I don't know.
Exactly what Danny Hart does.
That's it.
But no, like Danny Hart's So have you ever met Stefan Evett? Have you met Travis Pastrana?
No.
That's who I want to be, Travis Pastrana.
Yeah, just a doer, isn't he?
He looked like he's
Car
just,
driver, just the universal man, the man.
He's the American. He's like the American version of you, really. You know what I mean?
I'm not up to
But
his
no,
knees, man.
but
He
you know what I mean.
man,
Though?
and he is the man.
He just sees something, has a crack at it, and he just did.
Backflipping monster trucks and stuff like that. Jesus
There's a
Christ.
documentary called 199 Lives. Have you seen it?
No.
Travis brilliant. Watch it. It basically suffers from sleep apnea, and he screams in the middle of the night. He suppresses fear that much during the day. It comes out to haunt him at night, and he goes around the house screaming and stuff like that. Proper.
Honestly.
And then, like in the morning, all right, everything like that.
I need
He's
to
running
watch
through
this
that.
film,
Going,
I know.
199 Lives. Travis Pastrana. Watch it.
All right.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Talks about
sound.
But he's got the most breaks of the human body without being paralysed. That's his Guinness World Record.
That's fair going.
Fair
play.
That is guy singing.
I'm just thinking, I've had a few.
Let's see if we can correct that record straight off the bat.
I have had a few. I was just thinking that's who who got the metalwork when the burners. Nigel gets the metalwork. So there'll be some waiting, boy. There'll be some waiting.
Make it like a dog pen, a kennel. They are so there.
Yeah, there's your dad's bones.
Imagine Nigel's like mental trauma there, going. Is this a joke? What's going on? You cruel bunch of...
I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that.
No, but I
mental well-being, did I?
I like it. Big fan of your work. But
Have you been over to Rossi's Ranch?
Yes.
What was that like?
Mega.
Is it? Oh, yeah.
That's
Do you get
his
on with
racing
Rossi?
hero.
I get on with Rossi. You know what I mean? I've met him.
Do you get starstruck around him?
I heard a
He's not
rumour.
best mate, is he? He's not Tony Scott. As legendary as he is. Let's see your head potting, mate. Let's see your head potting. What's your views on low centre angles?
What you like with a Dremel?
Not as legendary as he is. I don't really. To be honest, I did get starstruck at Goodwood once. I didn't go many times, but I went once and met Mick Doohan. Right, because I read his book, The Thunder from Down Under. Matt Oxley. I must have read it loads. Just like double hard bastards. Yeah, and I met him, and all I could say was, I read your book twice, mate. That's all I could say to him.
Sign me book.
There you
go.
Man.
Tell you who's
The man. But no, he's just a legend. Just absolutely. And I spoke to him like a normal bloke, and he was just normal. He could talk about all sorts. But I don't know. I'm not going to say, I've got his fan. I don't know him.
I tell you whose book I've just finished, which was mega. John Hopkins. I would recommend that. American. It's called
heard it on a podcast about the release of his book. It's worth a read, is it?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. Life of massive ups and downs, and like
wild man.
Some proper stories off track.
Okay.
But you'll enjoy that, definitely.
Okay, right.
In terms of bucket list, is there anything other than, I know you're 100% focused on the job, the 300 mile an hour job. Is there anything that's sort of itching away other than that?
Backflip.
I don't really. The backflip, you might have planted a seed there, boy, but I'm just thinking.
I'll come show you.
My level of skill, how far would I get? I don't know.
Guy, you've only just met me. I'm not exactly the most skillful person that
and you did land it?
I did land it. Bang, woof.
And rode away.
No. Up, both wheels, bike sunk, got off the pegs.
Right. Fair play, boy. No.
Guy, you want to do a backflip? I'll come down as your fat little mate, and you can present the Channel 4 can. If this fat little knacker can do it, I can do it. You know what I mean? I'm 100%
Let's see how that goes. Let's see how it goes.
It's a question for you.
Don't use a foam pit.
Right, well, I did. Right, okay. But you don't think that them boys, Andy Godbolds, the dog bold, they do all it's not, I'm not taking the piss, that's the dog boys. Andy Godbold it's like a display team. They go to like country shows and all that. It's called Dogbold, and they do all sorts of mental stuff. Right. And they practice to death in foam pits before the dare take you to the ramps.
Oh yeah, but them lads are professionals. So I'm just a knacker from the northeast side.
Yeah, but you see, you didn't do it in a foam pit.
No, straight bird
commitment. That's commitment, that boy.
Practiced a few times on his push bike.
BMX, got it landed on me BMX.
Did you?
And then went on things, yeah.
Get the two wheels off the ground, land it. I thought, well, a motorcycle, it's about holding the throttle. Thing is, if you go up over, knock the throttle, you're killing that inertia. It's like I've only learned to ride motor thanks to Sugar Tits. I'll have to explain Sugar Tits to another time. He's a good mate. He's a good mate of ours, proper good mate. And the thing is, I've only been riding motocross this year, like first time properly.
Yeah.
And he was saying if the front's going down, rev the throttle.
Yeah, I know.
Picks the front up, back brake, go down.
Yep.
So I approached the backflip on the motocross bike. If I hold the throttle open, it's going to go.
Keep going round.
So, but the hard thing is, it was about I had to overcorrect my hand. So when I went upside down, my arm was straight and held the throttle up and over. Because if I knocked the throttle off, the bike stopped and stalled me there.
So you started the run with your hand right round there.
And then my arm was straight when I went upside down.
Sounds okay.
Maybe something for the future.
Yeah.
This has got to happen. This is going to be proper.
Something
with the hospital just there. Hey?
Something from
Grimsby.
I'll leave you my number, guy. I'll leave you my number, son, if you need tips.
From your books and stuff.
Go on, boy. Go on.
There's a clear sort of. It's almost like what you live your life by, and there's that constant of being flat out busy with whatever you're doing. It's there's a lot of people will look at your life and look at your choices and stuff and think, why do you get up at 5:30 and work like that?
Question all the time.
But
I don't need an answer to it now. I asked myself a question. I'm not even bothered looking for an answer. I know you mean, but I don't know. I just know that's how I'm wired.
And it's just a preset.
That's just how I'm wired.
Yeah.
Good.
It's. And it's the same with say the push bike thing. A lot of people would think that sounds like hell to most people, like 18 days of riding flat out.
yeah.
But I think there's like a sort of a meaningful. Do you know Jordan Peterson?
I've listened to odd bits of his because my missus says, "Oh, you need to listen to this."
Yeah,
and
I think you'd be well into that, and it's almost like setting like really difficult things and working towards them. There's something like. There's something like rewarding to the.
Well, I thought, well, anyone could do what I do because I'm far from like a super athlete or anything like that. But a mate of mine, Simon, he's a bit older. He's a bit older than me, right? And I got onto him about my next ride. I'm going to ride to Kazakhstan. The goal is Kazakhstan. I'm going to see how far I can get him off. I'm going to see how far. I'm going to see how far I can get him off from here. Grimsby to Kazakhstan.
But yeah.
Yeah. And that was
Borat?
No, it's the Borat run, yeah.
I like.
This is my sister.
You need to listen to that podcast I was about. Go on, what was I was just telling you about it, wasn't I? The Lazarus heist. Holy shit. When we're talking
I'll
about
get on that, yeah.
North Korea and about, it wasn't, go on, what's he called?
Jordan Peterson.
No. All right.
Borat.
What's his name?
Sacha Baron Cohen.
Sacha Baron
There we
Cohen.
are. Well done.
Seth Rowan. South Park man. Anyway, they made a film all taking the piss out of Kim Jong-un. You need to listen to that Lazarus Heist. Holy shit, blew my mind.
We'll get it on the list.
Sorry, right, go on. I'm lost. I'm thinking, Jesus, I'm just thinking, my God, you don't need to talk about that. I could talk about that. Oh, my God. So, yeah.
I'll swerve around that one.
Yeah, I'll have to. No, I'll get it.
But like you say, you were talking about like going through the hell of it and like getting
No, sorry. I was talking to my mate Simon Perry.
That was
we was good, and I was just saying, oh yeah. Somehow we got into the conversation because we always go for a ride in and around my birthday. We always go for a big ride, do whatever. And I says, I'm not going to do that this year. I'm going to ride to Kazakhstan. I says, you come if you want. Oh yeah. And he really thought about it. And he come down on the opening of the motocross track or the first test of the motocross track. He says, we'll get a plan sorted about how we're going to do it because I go and do all these daft rides all by myself. You see, I'm a bit of a loner when it comes to that sort of stuff. And it was a bit strange for me to invite someone to come on, but he's a right good old boy. And then I thought we've got talking about it, and he just kept saying, yeah, but it'd be fun, won't it? And I says, yeah, it's fun. And then I sort of. This was like the week after he texts me and says, I'm not going to bother. I thought about it alone, but then I really thought about it, and I thought, right, well, he kept saying, no, it's going to be fun though, isn't it? And I said, well, yeah. And I said, no, and I was going to ring him back before he texted me and say, look, Simon, this isn't fun, right? I went and rode like the year before, I rode the Arizona Trail because I always thought the Tour de Valle, which was Canada to Mexico, was the toughest, longest mountain bike race in the world. And yes, it is the longest mountain bike race in the world, but it's not actually the toughest. The toughest one is the Arizona Trail race. It's from Mexico through Arizona to Utah. And I thought, well, fuck, I can't have that. I've got to do the fucking toughest one, haven't I? And I fucking hated it. Fucking hated it, but I fucking finished it. You had to drag your bike through the Grand Canyon, right? Because the wheels of your bike can't touch the ground. That's the rule of the national park. The wheels of your bike can't touch the ground going through the Grand Canyon. And I thought, I can do that because I've got a load of screws in my leg and I need a new ankle, really. But I just thought, I'll manage because once you've got through the Grand Canyon, it's only 100 miles to the finish line. And I thought, I'll fucking do that. I'll do that. Even if I have to crawl to the finish line. But I didn't realise before I got to the Grand Canyon, I'd probably walked the majority. I'd walked like 700 miles before I got there. Like you'd pedal little bits. And that was like one bit I was in fucking, I can't even remember the name of the town I was. Like, it's in my new book that we've just read. Right, because they said, I don't want another book. And I said, I've fucking mint story about the Arizona Trail. Right, and I fucking got up at like 3 a.m. because I kipped in a ditch and I was fucking freaking me. So I fucking got up at 3 a.m. and I'm booking. So I set off at 3 a.m. on my push bike. I didn't pedal my push bike until dinner time, right? Because it was just brutal, dragging your bike, scrabbling up a hillside, taking your bikes a bit to get it through a fucking rock pass. This is what I'm sorry. I need to get back to the bottom. So to say to Simon, yes, no, none of what I do is fun, right? These long mountain bike races are not fun, right, at all. But there might be like 0.001% of you think, oh fuck. That was nice, that. But like, so I did like the Tour de Valle, and there might have been 18 days, 6 hours, right? There might have been like 5 minutes of that 18 days, right? 18 days, 6 hours, where I thought, holy fuck, this is fucking amazing, right? So there might have been like 5 minutes through that whole 18 days, right, where I thought, right, but that 5 minutes I will never forget, right? For the whole time I'm alive, I will never forget that. Right, I did the Arizona Trail race. Right, it was fucking brutal. Right, there was probably 5 seconds of it took me like 10 days to get to the end of it. It took me 10. There was probably 5 seconds where 5 seconds of memories that I will never ever forget. Right, so this is what I need to sort of relay to Simon, that if if you're willing to pay that price, right? So yes, yeah, there's fun bits of it, but it might be like it's fuck all, right? Whether it's 5 seconds over a 10 day, but this is going to be a month. This is going to be a month's ride, right? And I might enjoy it for maybe a minute of that, 2 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. I don't know, but for that, I will never ever forget that for the time.
Minute.
Yeah, I'm willing to pay that price. I'm willing to pay that price for like 29 days misery for 29.9, you know what I mean, for that, because I just fucking love it. I fucking love it. And once you've had that, I fucking got to the end of that Tour Divide. I got to the end of that Tour Divide and it's fucking like 18 days and I fucking cried.
I was going to say,
I fucking cried. And I'm fucking like, you're a fucking hard man. You're wet cum. What that's swearing. What are you fucking crying for? And I just couldn't believe what was happening. And ever since then, I've been chasing that. And I did the Arizona Trail Race and it didn't do the same thing yet. I want to do that thing where I've got no control. I just fucking cried, and that's what I'm chasing. That's
exhaustion. That is beyond.
I don't know if it was that. It wasn't that because my body had got into a state where it could ride 20 hours a day, and I could have done that. I could have done that for the foreseeable future, right? I was all right. My body had realised, oh shit, this is what we do. We sleep in a ditch for 4 hours, and then we pedal for 20. This is what we do. And like the Arizona Trail was the same, but I wasn't pedaling. I was just fucking carrying me bloody back. I was willing to pay. I'm willing to pay that price. Wow. But now I'm trying to chase that, and that's the fucking. I'm fucked now. I'm fucked. Do you know? I just want that. I want that. Get to the finish line, and I had no control. I just fucking cried.
Do you know David Goggins? Are you familiar with him?
Yeah. I've listened to a couple.
What a fella!
He's big into that. All that.
Why don't you do that for a program? Hell Week.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Now that would be a program.
What about the fucking? No. What's the running race called? The Tennessee. In Tennessee,
is that one where it's...
you have to be invited, and you don't even. There's no entry form, so you have to know someone that knows someone that knows. What's it fucking called?
I haven't a clue, but it sounds like the Illuminati to me. I've never.
It's something like that. It's a race in Tennessee. What's it called? It's called the race. Mate of mine in Ireland, Alistair Barron, he told me all about it.
Are you into your running as well, or is it?
No. This is another thing. This is another thing. I fucking had to run somewhere. I was fucking my tractor had to run to get so much the other day. I'm fucking suffering for it now. I did the Arizona Trail Race and my ankles fuck because they did tell me this is like I come off of my first Southern 100, 2002. Have you done the Southern 100?
Yeah.
My favourite meeting.
Won a few races.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah, I'm talking about, yeah.
Fair play. Some meeting that was. The best organised meeting.
I've been round
100%. The best organised. Love it. I love it.
Yeah,
that was my first. I think that's the first time I broke a bone. Southern 100. First time.
There's a one on the left and one on the right.
That's the one. That's the one. You've had that. What? Yeah, what a play. And then the doctor said when he screwed you again, obviously you're in the Ironman and they don't want motorbike race. He says that'll want redoing in 10 years. And I thought, all right. Anyway, I've managed like 20 years.
So no, he's
fucked. I'm struggling. If I run any distance at all, if I bike, no bother. But when I'm running, if I try and run, if I try and do it, just knackers it, and I'm fucking hobbling for a week.
Right.
So I need a new ankle.
Like I was about to say, get the new ankle and go do like.
That's what I'm thinking, like a mental run. Just
that would be a good documentary just about the pain, the recovery of that, and then go and doing that. That's the thing, isn't it?
You see, I don't. Yeah.
Have you ever been invited?
You see, because I do think we're scraping the barrel. Then you say that, and you think,
I need a new job. I'm sick of cutting trees. I'll be your director. Right, unscrew his leg.
Yeah.
Now.
Do you know that the SAS? I've never watched it, but do you know that SAS program?
My missus got me to watch that. She didn't get me to watch it. She just says, Anna says,
would you not fancy it?
No, because that is no. That's people that want to be famous, and maybe they're getting less famous. So to get more famous, they have to go on a celebrity show. I don't want to be famous. So what's the point of me doing any of that shit?
That's why. But you see, that's the thing.
I'm not being disrespectful, or am I? I don't mean.
No, it's just your honest opinion.
I don't want to do any of that. I don't know. No.
That's why I think the Hell Week could be so good because like the SAS would never divulge.
That's the Navy SEALs thing,
Of course, but that's a world famous situation.
Is it?
The Hell Week. No, I mean, yeah.
Hardly any people get through it, so it's the top people go to it. And basically, the instructors, it's their job to try and make you fail that week. So like they're waking you up every hour, taking you out at sea, they're trying to like drown you. You have to be hard as nails to get through Hell Week. It's like the worst thing.
No, I've listened to a lot of podcasts about it. It just sounds fucking
right up your
right up my street. Right up my street. Yeah, just brutal. No, but I'm not. I won't be quick. I'm not like with bike racing. I'm not quick. But I can fucking keep going. I can suffer. I'm good at suffering, boy. I can suffer.
You're not fast.
That's the whole point of Hell Week. You know what I mean? That's the whole point of Hell Week. It's about like trying to build something better than you are. But you see, the Hell Week situation is world famous because they're very open about how they do it. It is so well renowned. But Our Majesty, Great Britain here, we're not going to divulge any information about the SAS do. So it's almost make believe on the SAS some of it will be true. The psychology
Oh, so
battle of
you
it.
think, right?
No, the SAS Who Dares Wins program is manufactured.
Sorry.
If you go do that, and then you go Hell Week. Imagine.
Hey, the sun's
that would
there in
be-
there.
I would
break myself.
I would have a go.
I'll get my thinking cap on and get some ideas forward for new TV programs.
I mean, I'm not going to much. I can suffer. I'm all right with the suffering job. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I just think
That would be that would be hellish, that mine, because then to be honest, imagine you going to do it even without televising it. It'll be interesting to get you on this show and again in 2 years from now and going,
how did you get on, babe?
exactly.
How'd you get on?
That would be Hell Week would be beyond. That's high end military. That is
I've
high
got back
end.
to Kazakhstan yet.
We'll do that. Survive that. And then go do that. There you go.
I've got my route sorted. I don't know where I'm going.
Which countries are you going through?
I'm going to get on the Rhine, and that'll take me to like former Yugoslavia, in around there. So I'll go there. So Croatia, out the back of Croatia, Romania, Istanbul, across the Black Sea, across Oman, Caspian Sea, and then get to Azerbaijan, get the boat to Kazakhstan.
I love the trip, that one.
That's the plan. That's
What,
the
what
plan.
did you say, a month?
Just see the goal is to get there. How far can I get in a month?
Right.
Fantastic.
I'm all right. I don't give in. I don't get just steady.
Yeah,
Good
we've
lad.
got a few questions sent in.
Go on.
We've got one from Paul Watson, and I think it's his daughter sent it, so I'll just play it and then.
Hi, Guy. I'm Fiona. I'm 9 years old and I come.
Oh,
Sugar.
Go on.
Siri's kicking
Go on.
in.
Reset it, boy.
Hi, Guy. I'm Fiona. I'm 9 years old and I come from the Isle of Man. And my question is, what's been your favourite achievement or victory?
All right. Good lass. Thank you very much. Good question. Favourite achievement. It's as we've said, talked about. Crying at the end. I'm just trying to chase that. I'm just trying to chase that. Just trying to get to that same
Replicate
thing.
that.
And then motorbiking, like sort of getting to the top of Pikes Peak with my turbo bike that I'd spent 4 years building in my shed, and then the stock bikes there now, aren't they? So and that was mine was the only turbo bike to make it to the top. So the only turbo bike to make it to the top.
There we are.
I mean, it was shit. It was loads of problems, but it did.
Made it to the top.
Yeah, just because really that's what my whole sort of motorbiking was about. Really, was just trying to. But it took me a long time to realise the only reason I was racing bikes was just trying to make stuff better. It wasn't about measuring myself against competition. It was just how could I get the bike. That's why I really like Stuart Johnson, who was the main man at Taz. Not the main man, but he was like he was just brilliant. He could sort of decipher my bullshit and then just say, well, I would try this, would try that, and I loved all that because it was just like very mechanical. I loved all of that. I loved all that. So yeah, the Pikes Peak.
I've got a few sort of quick fire questions, like a bit random.
Go on, boy.
First one, I thought of this on the way down. What's the best £100 you've ever spent in your life?
Oh, I like that.
Okay, now well, I'd say something Snap-on, but there's not much you can get for £100 in a Snap-on van, is there? That's a constant in my life.
You get the free
Debt to the
car
Snap-on man. Debt to the Snap-on man. Okay, now what do I use all the time? What do I use all the time? Bloody hell, man, that's a good question. What am best £100 I've ever spent? Okay, I'm going to say something shit. What am I going to say? I've got a real good head talk. That's a bit shit, and I shouldn't say something like that.
Well, have a think on it. You might something else might think. What's the
Steve Squeaky Ball? I want £100. Just low, yeah, nice.
under £100? We'll say like that.
Squeaky Ball. He loves the Steve loves the squeaky balls. What's it just? Go on. What you're trying to think of an answer, aren't you?
I'll ask you another thing. And you
go on.
What's the best like box set you've ever watched? Sort of like Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever.
All right. Okay. Best. Oh, fucking hell, Sopranos.
Right. I've never seen it. My dad watched that, but I never got. Was that a gangster thing in America?
Yeah. Tony.
Really?
Tony Soprano. Yeah, I thought we was going to call the next dog Tony.
Really?
Yeah. We haven't got him yet, but yeah, Tony.
Are you?
Tony the gangster
have you
going
done-
through the living room.
Like anything, my young and Dot, like there's a squirrel or there's a bird running. I would just call him Tony. And we've got like a big bird. We've got like a big buzzard lives at the top of the lane. Big. We call him Tony.
Tony.
Yeah, just after
my
Tony
friend,
Soprano.
Tony?
Yeah, Tony.
Tony.
Yeah, you've got
Would
it.
you like a shot of
Yes,
tequila,
that was
Tony?
great. But then my missus got right into Breaking Bad. But then it never took me. It never took me.
How old's Dottie, by the way?
She's just turned 4. I've not seen her I haven't seen her for a couple of 3 weeks. They're over in Ireland.
Do you think she'll be into does she come and sit and watch you?
No
with the
interest
engines?
in the shed.
Really?
Not yet.
No
Not
interest
yet.
in the shed.
Not yet.
No, no.
Daddies and daughters. You
Yeah,
wait till she gets a bit
yeah.
older. There you go. You're
You
stuffed,
don't
son.
know. I'm not gonna force her in anything. And I think it made, like, my dad really maybe didn't want me to race because he knew, so that made me more. So I think if you're pushing him into it, I don't think. So if she wants it, she'll find a way of making it happen. Like I found a way. And like, yes, he helped me when I got going. He helped me. Yeah. But I made it happen, and it gave me the kick up the ass, and that's what gave me the hunger for it. You know what I mean?
I totally. No, that's how I was raised. I tell you what, I can't wait to see her changing her first wheel in the yard and the snap-on guns on it. It's like, put the fucking snap-on gun back. What have I told you? For God's sake! Wait till I get told you to bite me.
Oh God.
We'll see how she goes. But she's not so. No, she's mad for unicorns and osses. I say we're not having an oss. You can have a motorbike. You can't have an oss.
That's fantastic.
Well, you can make a unicorn. Just put a cornetto on its head and off you go.
There you go.
I've got Luke. Have you ever interested in doing the classic TT? Fancy giving Dom?
Oh, that was a run do that the classic TT. I went to do it once.
You went to do it. Yeah,
I understand
that was
the
the first year. That was the first year.
It was the first year. Yeah.
You went from the Ulster, went over, and I think you missed. Oh, you just missed out on qualify. No, but it was like 2 days. You could easily, in my opinion, you could easily got on the bike and
Well, no. The rules are the rules, and I didn't know the rules. Andy Molnar had first developed it was the first 4-valve Manx, right? So we built the first prototype engine, and he knew if I'd have had some involvement with it, I'd ride it.
Yeah.
So he gave me a head and said, right, you port the head, and then we'll build the 4-valve Manx and you'll ride it at the Manx. I said, that's mint. So whatever way it was, the Manx started on a Monday, say, and the 500 race was on the Saturday. So whatever, I couldn't come on the Monday because I was working. So I came on like the Wednesday night so I could practice Thursday, Friday and do the race Saturday. So I gets there on the Thursday morning or whatever it was. Went to sign on. They said, no, your first night of practice has got to be before the Wednesday night. But I had been there. That was the rules, and I'm not going to argue with them. But I had been there, 6 weeks before, 8 weeks before.
At the Isle of Man
TT. The Isle of Man TT doing. So all I did was turn around, get in the boat and go back.
So you might do it in the future, possibly.
Well, yeah. Not you want to scratch that itch?
It should have bit me before. Right, I was riding around the TT. Right, I've done it for 11 years, 12 years, right? And I was riding around there thinking, what am I having for tea? What's happening at work? Right, that should have bit me in the ass. I shouldn't be here, right? So I was lucky. I got away with it. I was just bored of it. Like, as great as it is, it's just the same. It's the same thing, and it's 2 weeks, and I'd rather be at bloody work. I'd rather be at work, and great, but no. I'd rather be. Just going over the same ground to do what? I didn't win the TT. Would I win a Manx if I was lucky? Someone brought down. I might do, but I didn't put enough effort in. I didn't put enough effort in because I had too much other stuff going on. And do I regret that? No, I don't. Because for me, it was all about trying to better what you had, right, to get the most out of it. And that's when we.
Would you put someone on one of your bikes? Now, the reason I'm asking that is like, the man and machine, 37-mile long lap, 264 corners. Would you put someone on one of your bikes?
Yeah, well, it's not my bikes, but Barry Gisson. I don't even know Barry Gisson. The Bass Tyres. But Jim Hines rides for him. There's a few lads rides for him. I've done his motors for bits and bobs.
Right.
But I'm building a bike for Jim to ride at the TT next year. But it's not my bike. It's Barry's bike that I'm building for him. And they said, would you go over and do his wheel change? I don't know what. I don't know.
Is it on a big bike you're doing?
He's doing. Yeah, he's riding. He's got his bike's in there. It's a GSXR 1000.
Right.
But then he's 600. So, yeah, to go and be involved in the... I've not said yes, I've not said no. I've just...
Yeah, no, I'm just wondering, building... when you're talking about... No. I'm not even meaning that. I meant the fact that you're such a passionate engine builder, frame build and everything like that.
Yeah.
If you just went, look, I'm going to build a classic bike, would you put someone on that to test that machinery?
Yeah. Well, because they've been so sort of open with the 500 rules and that's my next goal. I'm going to build a cylinder head for my triple. I'm going to build a 4-valve for the triple. I've just, and if I could get that chance to race that over there, that'd be mint. Sort of.
Would you want to pilot it though? So you're a man who builds your own machines.
Yeah, and I like riding my own stuff because I've got the feel for it.
There you go.
Let's see. But that's my goal. That's what I think. I've got to sell a bit more gear. I'm going to buy a 5-axis machine. I've only got a 3-axis. I've got a 5-axis CNC. And I'm going to build 200.
This backflip video will get you some views.
Yeah,
Very soon.
yeah. You know what I'm saying. No, I'm not writing it off. I'm not writing it off. But to go and race at the top end level with the sole purpose of going and winning, then no.
No.
That's and to be honest, it took me a long time to realise that's why I'm racing. Maybe team manager shouldn't maybe don't want to hear that now, but really, it was just about bettering the bike, and probably got to the level of my talent, and it wouldn't go any further. You know what I mean? But I was happy because we got the best out of the bike.
Yeah. Got a
go on, boss. Go on.
Good question here from Craig Dunce about the attempt to cycle around the coastline of Britain.
Oh, that went to shit.
Yeah. Is any plans to give it a go?
To be honest, I still keep thinking about that because the record was set at like 28 days.
Jesus.
Yeah, 28 days. The whole you won't think how far that is. The whole circumference of the country is just over 5,000 miles. You wouldn't think that, would you?
In out.
Which is doable. But no, I started and I only got to John O'Groats. But that year I raced across the desert in China doing a TV thing there, which was like bloody 400 mile. Right? And then I went to, before then I'd done the Tour Divide. But the only reason I set off on that was because I'd done the Tour Divide and I was so mentally strong after finishing the Tour Divide. I thought, you can chuck anything at me, I'll fucking do it. And that's why, to be honest, I think I came up with that idea. And they ended up in a write-off because they'd set everything out to film it over a month, and I only got like 10 days in. Not even that. I think I may have got 7 or 8 days in. So no, that is unfinished business. But I would go about it in a very different way. I thought because I was so hard, I was because I was so mentally strong after doing the Tour de Var. I thought I'll do it. I'll set off at the start of December and I'll get back for the goal was to get back for Christmas Day. And like you get up the north of Scotland, you had like bloody 5-6 hours of daylight, you just think, just man up, man. Just man up to it. But that played a massive mental part, having so little daylight throughout the day. And I would never have thought that until I was put in that position. And I suffered, boy. I suffered. And I got to there and I just said, look, boy, this isn't happening. I am knackered.
A lot of people suffer through the winter with SAD, S-A-D, seasonal, and is it antidepressant?
Right, yeah.
And it's something people don't really think about the light, but it does play a massive. Yeah. There's a place in, have you ever heard of Rjukan in Norway? It's where the
highest suicide rate or something.
But it's where the what's it called, where the British soldiers
telemark skiing.
Yeah. Well, there's a hydrogen plant at the top. It's like
heavy
a very
water plant. That's what there was going there for
during the war. Yeah. Well, Rjukan it's such a steep little a valley that they sometimes only get like 30 minutes a day of daylight. So there's about 100 years ago they built a cable cart, and for all the factory workers just to get some daylight on the lunch breaks, they would go up to the top. Otherwise, it's like it would just be dark all the time, and it's like depressing.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Is that right? Telemark. My God, Heroes of Telemark. That's
the one. Yeah, it's a movie about it because that
Marines,
one. Yeah, that one.
You know about this? It's a serious story. That boy.
That one.
Heavy water. That was about the nuclear bomb.
Right.
The Germans were going to get to it first. So, yeah, but the fucking story.
So that one power plant at the time was powering like 30% of Norway's electricity. So basically, it would have been massive if the Germans got there. And it was like it played quite a pivotal thing in the during the war.
Yeah.
Massive, but cool place to visit if you ever get a chance.
Listen to this. This is another podcast I listen to. It's called The Bomb. It's a BBC podcast, and that's all about the nuclear bomb. You need to look at it. I'm trying to find it. Anyway, The Bomb. Have a look.
I'll have to look at
honestly,
that.
Boy.
Yeah. Head melt.
I'm shaking my head, boy. I'm shaking my head. Yeah. But the power generation. That's where it's going to stop. But nuclear fusion. That's it. Everything is sorted then. Everything is sorted. Life is good.
Life is on it.
Yeah. But then they'll find another way of getting Western disease in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They've got to try and corrupt the masses with Western disease. Don't get me started on that.
Well, that'll be on another episode.
Yeah,
that one.
We'll get you on a revisit.
And I've got one final question to finish from me. It's a theoretical stag do. 5 people. It can be living or dead.
Right.
5 people to take from.
Oh, shit.
Who would it be?
Shit. Who would I take?
Well, who's the
Nigel,
first?
Stephen. There's 2.
Nigel and Steve.
Who's the first?
2 pair of pissheads. They'd be wasted. No, who would I have? You probably want Genghis Khan, won't you? Because there's some stories there, like 2/3 of the world landmass he ruled. I want. Like, I'm not left. I'm not right. I'm not either. I'm not either. I'm just. I'll just sit and like to sit and watch and just
Observe.
observe. I'm not. But I want Putin. Like, shit, there's some stories going on there, isn't there?
My God, what an interesting.
Yeah,
I'd be like sitting there going,
I want Big Vlad up there.
my God, hi.
Yeah, and like I'm again.
Putin just sitting there.
Yeah, Genghis Khan, Putin, and who else am I having? Like, really, just to top that. And I don't want to be judged on this, but I just think I want to ask Hitler a load of questions. What was your thinking? Because he was sane. The man was sane. I read a load of books. You just, yeah.
I'll tell you what, you've hit the nail.
That's only three. That's only three. That's only three.
No, you're right, though, aren't you? Just sitting there, just going, look,
Come on, boys.
What was
the crack? What's the crack?
Jesus, wept.
What
That's
was
a
the
great
crack?
answer.
What's the crack? Right.
Putin, Hitler.
I tell you, I've just because I tell you, chucked in amongst that lot, Mike Tyson. Right.
Yes.
So he's coming. That's 4.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's an intellectual man there. I've just fry my brain.
He's got a podcast. I don't know what it's like. It's called Hotboxing. You know, he's got this big thing with marijuana.
Right.
Because
He smokes a lot of weed.
in the state that he lives, it's been legalized.
Yeah,
So he
yeah,
sells marijuana, and he's got a podcast called Hotboxing with Mike Tyson.
Mid.
Shit.
So,
Yeah,
My last man.
4.
your last man. Who's your last man?
I think I would, like you said, I'll just take the big man with me. I call Nigel the big man.
The big man.
Yeah, he'd come.
Imagine
Because
him
he's got a
barking
lot of
at Hitler.
stories. He's got a lot of stories, that man. Because I make up all sorts of daft stories about him. Like, we do a daft calendar every year, right? And there was one about, he was like double agent. And some of the stories he comes out with, and his times like in like North Africa, like the start of the SAS. It's just some stories, that man. Yeah, I could talk about him till stupid, just stupid stories. But just you look in his eyes though, there's fucking more to him than
There's
I'm
more.
telling
He's
you.
switched on.
There's more to him than a dog. Like, you look in Steve's eyes, he's just a dog. He's just a dog. He just likes his ball. You look in Nigel, fucking hell, man.
He's sitting there with a pipe on an evening, just reminiscing, soaking it all in.
Stories. You could just see.
God, lad.
Like a fucking.
I'll tell you
Between
what.
that and he's in his days at UK. I've got the pictures in the shed of him. He spent some time there. Obviously, down to Stone of Success, all of the back of Nigel's prototype work.
There we are.
You need to, you see the pictures. Don't get me started. So, that's who we're taking. That's
That's the table. I tell you what,
Mike
imagine,
Tyson. I'm just thinking, who else? No, who else would I? No, that's it, innit? That's it. But I don't care. That's not politically correct. But are you a very?
No, not at all. We're an open book here. So
Right,
we're
well,
open.
I'm not. I don't want to be. I'm not left. I'm not right. I just. It's interesting.
I think
It's Genghis Khan. He's had had sex
He's from
with them.
Argentina.
Did he have sex with like more women than anyone else in the world or something?
Yeah, but I think that 1 in 3 now can still trace their descendants back to Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
I think he was Peru and ended up in. Sorry, he was from Argentina and ended up in Peru. Yeah, 1 in 3 now can trace their descendants back to Genghis
That's
Khan.
mad.
We might be.
Do you know? Speaking about podcasts,
Gandhi would be a good
I was
one.
listening. I was
Not
listening.
really good crack, to be fair. Bit of a room empty, to be fair. I'm just trying to picture Gandhi versus Hitler, trying to have a proper heated discussion about
Hitler might have had sense. There might have been.
No, but imagine serving in Weatherspoons and the lad's busy day like, I don't mean to alarm you, sir, but Hitler, Putin, Gandhi, Nigel the dog, and Guy Martin are over there having a few pints. I'm sorry, but I'm taking my shift early.
Did you enjoy? Speaking of Putin, do you know when you were over in Russia doing the filming work?
Yes.
I've never been really fascinated by the place.
What an amazing place! What an amazing place! Such friendly people.
Right.
Because we was really worried about not getting into the country, but obviously. Because that was right at the time of, go on, what was it called?
The nerve agent in right next to Thruxton. Salisbury, yeah, that's
Salisbury,
it.
yes. Yeah. And we was getting on the plane right in the middle of all that, all right? And we lands in Russia. Obviously, the TV had put such a lot of planning into that, so they had to go there and get refused entry for them to be able to get the insurance. So they said, whatever, you're going out, right? And then you get refused, and then the insurance will all be sorted. And we got out there. And no one gave a shit. Oh, England. Oh, yeah, we've heard of that. That seems like a nice place. No one gave a shit. It was mid. Like, oh, we've heard of England. That seems like a nice.
Well,
you know
you're
what I mean?
from Salisbury.
That was so irrelevant, because we're just seen as such this mass power from all of the external propaganda that we get fed here through all the BBC and the news, which is nothing wrong with that, but we're just seen to be this big global power, don't we? But outside of this little island, no one gives a shit. No one gives a shit. And that was just a great example of that. And then we got out there and it was brilliant. It was brilliant. Did we have like 9 internal flights when we was there? Yeah, we did some flying. We had like one of them was like 6 hours. We got to like the Chinese border to where, I'm trying to think, Lake Baikal, deepest lake in the world. Yeah, we got out there. And then we had like the truck we got about and was like a bloody a WAZ. I called it, is it UAZ WAZ? It just looks like a mini Volkswagen Transporter, but like a really old school thing with the wheels really inset, and there was more off-road capable than a Land Rover Defender. There was an amazing thing. We just got about in that, and it was mint. Then we went to fucking the Space Museum in Moscow, and it was just like the people that took us around were just so proud to be Russian, and so proud of what Russia had achieved in the space race, and just like that's just amazing. And just like a bloke sent me a bloody American space pen off what I'd said in an interview somewhere. America had spent like $3 million developing a pen that would write in space with zero gravity, and the Russians just took a pencil. But that wasn't actually correct because the bloke sent me the correct pen with the story that backed that up, and I just thought, but he was mint. What a kind bloke to send me the pen with a proper space pen. But just so patriotic, so just what, yeah. And then we got into like, because that was, yeah, I was sort of, what was that? I was planning to go on another push bike ride, but up round the Arctic Circle, the Arctic convoy, like Second World War, where all the boats were sank, and we was up, we just what a beautiful country, what nice, polite people, just such a foreign country. From a country that really stands out. Like, I went to Japan, and to be honest, now I said about they haven't got anywhere off the back of me other than the Pikes Peak, but we went to Japan off the back of me because I went there with Yamaha, with Kawasaki through a magazine thing, and then with Honda. And every time I might have gone there for like 3 or 4 days at a time, and every time I come back I was just like, holy fuck. Couldn't be. If you'd have told me you dropped me on Jupiter, I'd have been like, yeah, it's mad, isn't it? It's mad. It's like another planet. It's such an oddball place. But then we went out there for the TV thing. We was out there 3 weeks, and I came back thinking, oh no, it's quite westernised. Really, it was quite normal. You could have gone. It didn't feel like. Now, whether it was just because the previous times that I'd gone was just for a short bit of time, you know what I mean? And I come back thinking it was alien, and we went for a long period of time. It was just quite normal. But Russia was out there, just like the underground. Just people are polite. Not that they aren't here. I mean, they are in Lincolnshire, but you know what I mean? You get to London and everyone's got somewhere to go and they're badging and they're going, and it's just like everything had to be done yesterday. Whereas just like, Russia was like that. Everyone was rushing about, but it was just so polite. Polite. And there was like this, there was like a dog that was a statue in the underground. It was like a beautiful underground. It was all like beautiful. It was beautiful. And then this dog, but it was like a lucky thing to rub the dog's nose, and like the majority of people that walk past this, the dog's nose was like brass. The dog's nose was bright silver because of people just everyone just so, I don't know what the right word for that is, but just
humble.
Yeah,
no, humble,
but just so into nice. But the propaganda that we're given about Russia is that they're all bad and mean, and it's all anti-Western. It's all. But no, I came away thinking, what an
I'm a big believer in sort of going as I find with people. And
exactly with that. The amount of people he's an asshole. No. I'll make my own mind up.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. What an amazing. Yeah. Yeah, now, well, obviously, me stag do, we poo in. I'll suss him out and see what the crack is. Go on, what's the eventual goal, big man? Because I do say he's like the richest man in the world, don't they?
Really?
Yeah, the richest man in the world. But the plane landed, right? And we just thought, obviously, we're going to get hauled straight into security and say, no, obviously, the Salisbury job, it's all, you've got to go back home. No one gave a shit, right? And we went straight from there to Square.
Moscow?
Yeah, what's the square called?
Kremlin.
Yeah, the Kremlin. There's a red square. Anyway, we were straight in there. And no one gave a monkeys with cameras and everything. No one gave a monkeys. The security guy came over and asked what we was doing, and he says, "All right, on your way, no bother." And there was like Stalin's tomb there. It was just mint. What an amazing experience. What an amazing experience. Yeah, so I've got to look at stuff like that with the TV. Yeah, it's mint. Getting opportunities to do stuff like that. But they did say, where do you want to go next? And I said, I want to go down the Gaza Strip and Bethlehem and see what the crack is. But I think that's a bit, the insurance wouldn't really go to that. Because that's just such a, I know little bits. I don't know enough. Like a little bit of information is dangerous, isn't it? And I just, what's actually happening?
You know enough to get in trouble, but not enough to get yourself out.
Exactly.
There you go.
That's
My missus tells me that all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Like where else? Yeah. Mint. Love all stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good lad.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I think we'll probably have enough for 2 podcasts there.
Is
but
that
that's
right?
Fantastic. No, thank you.
No. It's good. Because to be honest, we do stuff like that. Like you would text me ages ago, and I don't want to talk about myself, really. I'm not a vain person. But look, I've just fucking come on in and how long I've been talking about it. But I love, once you get me talking about real stuff, I fucking love it. I love it. But I don't want to do. But then you get me, it's mint. We have a nat, we've had a brew, and it's mint. I can talk till the cows come home. But I'm not, I don't,
We'll always give a chance at the end for it's usually like social media plugs, but I know you're not on social media, but obviously your new book's just came out.
Yeah.
Which remind us what it's called.
I need to bloody tell you. My missus come up with the idea because there was I wanted to call it a load of different wanky names, and they said you can't have that on a show because they've got to have it.
Dead men don't tell tales.
Dead men don't tell tales. And we was watching. What was he watching? It might have been Sopranos or something, and like some gangster said that. And Shaz says that's what you should call your book. I says that's a good idea. We'll call it because I've come out with all these wanky names before. They can't have offensive names. Yes, they can't have offensive names. It's always what's going to go on the Morrison show. What's going to go on the WH? Is WH still going?
Yeah.
Is it whatever? It's got to be able, and they won't have that on there. It can't be. So that's what judges whether it can.
My evening with Hitler and Putin. That's the next book.
But I'm not being. I just want to know what the crack was.
Oh no, I don't, mate. I think it's brilliant.
Want to know what the crack was.
I couldn't agree. I think it's a brilliant answer. Actually, sit down again. Where were you at, mate? Like it would be such.
And like Tyson, because I'm not going to say a word. I'm just going to sit back and watch the four. Come on, boy. I'll just keep bringing the beer. Just keep keep
supping them up. There you go. Are you still selling your hats and everything like that?
Yeah, plenty of bobble hats, Bob. We've just come out with a new one.
Is it guymartin.com for all of your merch and that?
To be honest, I don't really do it.
Me and Chrissy have got a better one for you. They are. Present from us, lads. There you go. There's a Chasing the Racing hat for you.
Thank you very much. We've just come out with a new one. I've not had one yet. Well, I've got the prototype one. It's just you always want to know about because it's very. Thanks very much. It's very. Is it No, that's wrong. The farming's very not territorial. You're either a Massey man or you're a John Deere man,
right.
Or you're a
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But it's very
one or the other.
Well, I'm a John Deere man, so I'm just keeping it green. That's the sort of saying if you're Johnny, you're just keeping it green.
Yeah.
So I'm keeping
New Holland, keep it blue.
Yeah. But then I say that, and then like JCB with the track have been mega, right? And this was just I give my point of contact. I'll just give Shazza the email, and she contacted her. That sounds really funny with that. And they gave us a 360 skid steer and a dumper, without really asking for help. There was mega.
Fantastic.
So yeah, stuff like that, mega.
And then we've. Are you still involved with that proper cleaner?
Yeah.
Is it all on your website?
Yeah. The proper cleaner is, which I think that's the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going all right.
Because am I right in saying it's transported? It's like the mix,
sachets.
so you don't need the water, so it's better for the environment.
It's just loads less faffing about. You can just put it back in the bottle again. Mint. We've done it for a few years. It's mint. I use loads of it. Wash my van with it. The wheels, not the paint. I'm very particular about very particular about.
Oh, missing any other plugs? There's the books, the proper cleaner, your merch.
I'm not really into plugs. I'm not really into plugs.
There you go. I don't know. You're a busy man all the time.
Well, I don't know. I'm just thinking. Right. I don't really. I obviously want to go like vertical machining centre, 5 axes, like 800 in the X and the Y.
Nice.
Right. Second-hand machines. Don't know. Get hold of us somehow. Like you know what I mean. That's I've got 3 axis CNC, like X, Y, Z mint, right? But for doing a cylinder head, I don't want to be doing like 20 different setups. No. And if you're doing 20 different setups, so someone's going to go out. So if I could do one in like a couple of sittings.
So you need a 5 axis for?
You could do it on my 3 axis, but that means you'd have to do it in like
20 reset.
And every time there's compromise.
And I just offset that, just that tiny bit of bollocks to it.
See what I'm saying?
So if there's anyone listening that can help you out with that.
Yeah, well, I know. Yeah. So I know what I want. Well, I know what to want to do. I just need pointing in the right direction.
Yeah.
So I've sort of gone down a different road with a CAD cam, and I sort of know. But that's the eventual goal. That's the goal. And I've always, right, that's the goal. I know that. Right, how are we going to get there? So
There we go.
And
Awesome.
a huge thank you to our patrons and our sponsor Colchester Kawasaki, and huge thank
Fair
you
play.
for all of your time. And I've honestly like thoroughly enjoyed just sat talking, even not about the bikes, just going
That's
off on
what it's
tangents.
about, man.
But
That's what it's
honestly,
about.
absolutely loved it. Look forward to catching up soon.
thank you very much. Thank
Thanks
you.
very
Cheers,
much.
boss.
Cheers,
Thank
guys.
you.
See you in a bit.
Sound job.
Click, buy, deliver with remote purchasing from the two-time Motorcycle News Dealer of the Year, Colchester Kawasaki. Proud sponsors of Chasing the Racing.